Did somebody say adventure? Hey, Wolfpack, we're back with another surprise tier list stream. Yeah, we're actually doing another one. I know it's really soon and in the middle of the week, but I decided, hey, I finally finished a video, so what the heck. Let's finally do a ranking on something more recent, the amazing Digital Circus. Hey Cat, hey Light Jones, making sure everything's working, my equipment seems to be working fine, got my tier list. Yeah, we're actually gonna talk about the amazing Digital Circus. I know some people have asked me my thoughts on it, mostly a lot of people ask me about murder drones. I did not really get into murder drones at all, did not really think it was my thing, didn't gel with it, nothing against the fan base or whatever it is, but just didn't gravitate towards it. The amazing Digital Circus though, this one I actually did kind of get into. A lot of reviewers I like seem to be following it, a lot of people ask me about it, and the fact that it's inspired by one of the greatest horror short stories of all time definitely earned my eye. I did watch all 6 episodes. Currently, only 6 episodes exist, so some people in the future might question this tier list later, but hey, we're doing it now because we want to have fun. I never thought you'd get around to the amazing Digital Circus. Technically not an actual video, we are doing a stream, but I will be ranking all the performers of the Digital Circus on this tier list, ranking them from top best to bottom worst. So, let's get the tier list rules out of the way first. If this is your first tier list ever, like if you don't know it, we'll explain it. I'll be ranking all the characters, the big, the lesser known, and the obscure on this tier list from top best to bottom worst. Got all their photos down here, and they will be going into different character slots. Up top, we have the S tier. These ones, the 10 out of 10s, the perfect ones, the best characters of the series. Definitely my personal faves, the fandom's personal faves, and good characters all around. Underneath that, we have A. These ones are good, not great. They're definitely golden. They're like 8 or 9 out of 10 rather than the perfect ones. Definitely decent characters. They're fun. They do their job. I can definitely see potential in these characters. Remember, we only have like 6 episodes and a few commercial/shorts to work with. But yeah, basically, I think they're awesome. I think they're fine. I'm looking forward to seeing what the show does with them because we're not super far into it, but I would definitely say they are still good characters. Then we have B. These ones, the silver medal, the second place, the okay characters. They're fine, they're decent, they did their job. They're not super well developed yet, but my opinion on them is just a rather average. They're fine. Underneath that, we have C tier. This is below average. These are the bronze medal, turf, the weaker characters, the ones that could amount to something better, I just don't love as much as other people do. These ones, yeah, just C grade. Underneath that, we have D. These ones, the duds, the lame ducks, the weakest characters of the series, characters who are honestly not fully fleshed out yet will be on here. Honestly, this might be the lowest ranking we'll see a character end up on. D tiers, ones that I just do not care for, basically, plain and simple. Not as bad as F, but also nothing golden. But at rock bottom, we have F, the total failures, the 0 out of 10s, the ones that I do not like, and honestly, we might not see any down here because there's only 6 episodes, and the show has been pretty good so far. I do not know why there's so many Rule 34 pictures of the characters, especially Pomni. Well, Pomni does kind of look like Harley Quinn. And people do anything for a sexy clown girl. Oh, amazing Digital Circus, love this series, and it's nice that they can be viewed for free. Hey, Shadowlink, I did not know you were a fan of this one. This one is a new internet sensation. The Digital Circus, as the creator openly says, it's kind of inspired by I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. That's one of Harlan Ellison's greatest works, a really terrifying horror novella, basically. It's a short story, not super deep. It did get a video game, which everyone also knows and loves, and kind of the exact same premise, though I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is way darker than this. This is kind of a light-hearted, modern-day I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. If you don't know, the plots are kind of the same. And The Amazing Digital Circus is a video game. A bunch of random characters from different walks of life have been abducted invented basically by this deranged supercomputer, Kane. That's this character here. Kane's kind of the antagonist of the show. This stand-in for Am, the allied master computer from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. He was invented to be a great video game. However, he took people against their will and is kind of holding them hostage in this video game world, implying that there is no sense of time or, life going on here. They are basically in a frozen in place area, being toyed with by this insane computer program, trying to force them to have fun in entering a lot of wacky circus adventures basically for his amusement and to help them basically cheer up and accept their fate as being a part of his showcase. The Digital Circus, like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, more specifically the video game, where all the characters are basically these tortured, abused, mentally ill people placed into insane adventure situations where they undergo a Silent Hill-esque journey to resolve their mental issues. Yeah, again, Silent Hill also kind of took inspiration from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, specifically an ancient god toying with people, ordinary humans. And this is what makes the show very interesting. The main cast, the circus performers, it's the characters. The characters are all very interesting, very unique, all have these great, interesting artistic forms representing their personal character, and they're undergoing basically their Silent Hill / Am journey, trying to find out who they are, their identity, remembering the past, discovering more about themselves, and evolving into better people. Again, exactly like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, where they find out that there's good in them and they are worthy human souls and not the losers they think they are, and not this insane supercomputer's toys to play with. Hi everyone, how's everyone doing today? Hey V Scorpio. Opinions for both the original and reboot series of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I did like the original. I'm not a hardcore super fan of the OG, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I did not grow up with it. I did watch it much later in life. I was definitely out of the age demographic when I saw it. I think The Haunting Hour and Goosebumps kind of spoiled me on high-quality horror content, so I didn't think much of it at first. I slowly grew to like it. I do love a ton of episodes. I have given Golden Skulls and 10 out of 10 scores to a lot of their great hits. The Gilbert Gottfried episode is my favorite. Least favorite, easily the Cannibal episode, but I do think the original show is fine. The first revival, that one was really messy. It's very clear that they lost the groove of the original show by that point. Some good entries, like I do love the Zombie Dice episodes and Jake the Snake. The Silver Side, not bad, a bit overhyped, but I do think it was a serviceable finale. The 2019-2020 reboots, have not liked a lot of them. I thought the first one was fine. The other two sucked. I do not like The Shadow Man, and I really did not like Ghost Island. That one was painful to sit through. They also have done Murder Drones, which I haven't watched yet, and Gaslight District, which the pilot was pretty solid and very Tim Burton-like. Yeah, I heard some people said Gaslight District was good. I tried getting into Murder Drones, but it was not my thing. Wilson's, because I thought Pomni was a little girl at first. Yeah, me too. I thought that too. No, the Digital Circus cast are not children. Most of them are already above 20 or older. I think they said Zooble might be the youngest, but I think Bubble is by technicality. I thought the Rule 34 art was something more sinister. Yeah, don't worry, it wasn't. I'm okay. Good, V Scorpio. Glad you're alright. Do you play video games? If so, what do you play? Me, I play Grand Theft Auto 5. If you watch my channel, I play Darkstalkers. I really love that. I play the Mass Effect trilogy. Andromeda sucked. I think it is worse than Mass Effect 3 by a country mile. I play Mortal Kombat. The fatality is pretty much a running gag on our channel, if you pay attention. And the Batman Arkhamverse, those are perfect games. Yeah, I do even like Arkham Knight, even with the stupid Batmobile and Arkham Knight twist. I thought it was a fine game still. Oh, and Far Cry 3 and Far Cry Primal, those are pretty good. But we're here to talk about the Digital Circus. They've had a lot of great characters, so I will warn you, this is going to be a very biased list because There's only 6 episodes so far, so we have a little to work with. Some characters get more than others. Pomni, Jax, and Kane especially hog the spotlight so often, and some are pretty much just one and done characters because we need to have a bigger tier list. Yeah, we do have the evil counterparts. I heard fan theories that they'll be back, and I hope they are because they were pretty funny. I did play Grand Theft Auto 5 once. I haven't played any of the other titles, though. Sorry, I could not get past the old graphics, and I do not own a PlayStation. Okay, so we're going to be ranking all the characters of the Digital Circus up here on the tier list, so I guess we should finally get this underway. So let's start with the main pro tag, our clown girl, Pomni. Yeah, and shocker, Pomni going on to S tier. Yeah, Pomni, really adorable. What the? My computer glitched out. Dang you, Kane. Alright, Pomni, she's awesome. I do like her. She's adorable. She's funny. Surprisingly well-rounded. At first, I thought I was not gonna like her because she's kind of the nervous wreck, awkward, shy girl. She's the newbie in the Digital Circus. Pomni is technically our main protagonist. We're following through her perspective. As the show goes on, we start following the other Digital Circus teammates, but Pomni is really funny, really likable, really adorable. We learn more and more about her, see her insecurities, see her actually toughen up, start playing the game, start standing up for herself more. She has been slowly undergoing character development, going from the weak, awkward newbie who almost went insane in the first episode, but being forced to accept her role in the circus, and she starts adapting, starts reaching out, and starts bonding with the circus gang, realizing that she's trapped here. Yeah, there is the signature scene where they're all sitting at the dining table, and Pomni like forces herself to smile, accepting that this is her fate. That is actually more funny. I found it more hilarious than dark, as a lot of people would put it, but yeah, the show definitely has a lot of mood whiplash type of humor. One moment we're having some dark horror movie scenarios, then the next we're having some wacky shenanigans like a James Gunn movie. Best tier, the thing she had with Gummy Goo was deep. Yeah, some people claim she and Gummy Goo got a ship together, they fell in love. No, they have a friendship moment. Gummy Goo has an existential crisis, and it's the first time we see Pomni like actually reaching out. She befriends Gummy Goo, helps him realize that he can be more than just a computer program, and Pomni starts basically getting a lot more backbone and confidence in herself. Unfortunately, that's taken away by Kane, who decides to send him back to the Shadow Realm, and Pomni breaks down again, gets herself back up when Kinger gives that really badass heartfelt speech telling her that, oh, the circus gang can try and be friends, and he's the first one that actually gets through to her. Pomni standing up towards Jax was definitely a nice surprise. She tries to befriend Jax, is trying to make peace with him all throughout their adventures together. At first you think Jax is kind of the idiot bully of the team, but then when she like beats him up, he reveals kind of his insanity, that he's really much coping, and Pomni actually doesn't fall for it, doesn't walk it back, realizes that Jax is not the person he claims to be, and Pomni definitely changed by episode 6. Really love the gunfight too. Pomni grew some badass skills here too. She is actually a pretty good sharpshooter. She starts taking out her friends, starts shooting guns, and doing a really epic badass Pulp Fiction team up with Jax. That was really hilarious. Yeah, I knew I would like Pomni right away, though it was funny Kane wanted to call her XXDDCC. Yeah, Kane is kind of weird. But Pomni, really like her design too. I do get a lot of Harley Quinn vibes from her. Pomni is the adorable clown girl. A lot of people were kind of confused over the ages of their character. Pomni confirms she is a full-grown adult. She is a grown-ass woman. She does tell Ragatha off that she's not a child. You don't have to hype me. She looks very small for her character, but yeah, she's actually honestly older than a few of the other characters. Pomni tried to be like a YouTuber. She worked at an accounting firm, and based on the stories, they all got abducted by some point. They were like exploring abandoned buildings, and Kane likely hijacked them, like abducted them, and forced them into his video game world. They were all like like YouTubers or artists in some way, and he lured them into a trap, basically. That's what the story seems to be hinting at. I'm sure I'll eat crow when later stuff is revealed, but yeah, Pomni I do like. She adapted to the world stupendously. She starts standing up for herself. She has a lot of cutesy moments and a lot of badass moments, a lot of moments where she finds herself. She is definitely, I would say, the Ted of the show. Ted from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, because she's the main character. She's the one who adapts to the situation and starts adjusting much better than her cohorts do. Could Pomni or Jax work in a Smash Bros. Style game? Yeah, absolutely. They would kick butt together. Hi, Kat. Hey, Akira. Glad you can make it. Yeah, Pomni will put on to S tier. Who doesn't love Pomni? You have to be, like, made of stone not to enjoy Pomni. I was afraid I wouldn't like her at first because they focus on her being helpless, but by episode 3, she starts coming around and showing her layers as a character, so definitely propelled her onto S tier. And I cannot wait to see if she wins or loses against the circus. Hopefully she doesn't suffer Ted's fate at the end of Harlan Ellison's work, but yeah, we'll see when we get there. So, while we're at it, I think we should talk about next the quote-unquote main antagonist, Cain. This is Cain, the ringleader of the Digital Circus, and Cain, shocker, also going on to S tier. Yeah, I really like Cain. Cain is funny. Cain is kind of the Q/Am character. This is technically the main villain of the story, but he's laughably evil. He's a comedic bad guy, kind of a goofball type of villain, a Beetlejuice, a Discord, a Q from Star Trek, with a lot of Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream mixed in. Though I get a lot of Wheatley vibes out of him. Wheatley was one of the villains from Portal 2. That's who I think they're trying to make him like. But Cain, who is he? He's the ringleader, the ringmaster of the Digital Circus. He brought them all here and wants to entertain them / possibly screw them up even more with his sadistic death games. So Cain sets them out on adventures, and it becomes very clear this guy is not a person. He is an artificial intelligence. I know there's fan theories out there that Cain might be a real guy, but from what the show is giving us, it seems likely he's an AI, he's a robot, he's a program in the Digital Circus. At one point we see him looking at photos, and he's looking at like a realistic office with a computer, hinting that this is how he sees himself. He's nothing more than a program trapped on this old school computer monitor. Cain's not as much as a villain in my eyes as Jax. Yeah, definitely. Also, Pomni's played by Lizzie Freeman. Yeah, they're all like YouTuber stars, so I don't have much familiarity with most of them. So I see Glitch Productions making Knights of Genevieve in September. We'll see how that turns out. What? Guinevere. Okay, thank you, Wolf. Knights of Guinevere in September. Okay, I don't know about that. Cain's not as much as a villain in my eyes as Jax. Yeah, I can see that. He played Sabrina in Pokemon Masters X. I see a theory like Cain and Abel, biblical theory. Yeah, they think Kinger is the Abel of the team. Sorry I'm late, what did I miss? We're not too far. We talked about the hero, now we're on the villain, or at least the antagonist. Cain is the master computer running the Digital Circus, throwing them into games even against their will, and it becomes clear that Cain doesn't see himself as the bad guy. He thinks he's a good guy. He thinks he's entertaining them, trying to help them, trying to be their guiding light, trying to be their guiding angel / counselor, helping them. He wants the Digital Circus gang to adapt to his video game and become better people and have fun, though it becomes clear he is not good at his job. He's bad at the one thing he was built to do, and throughout the first few episodes, it's hinted that Cain is short-circuiting. He does not like that he's bad at his job. He's a faulty program. He's glitching out, he's crashing out, he's malfunctioning, and he is losing control of the Digital Circus. Outside of the circus, there is nothing but a empty, lifeless void. Again, this is kind of like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. outside of the world, there is nothing. It's just his Digital Circus world. He builds everything, he sends them on missions, and the gang do not like it. They are not having fun, and it's tearing him apart inside. And this comes to a head in episode 6, where he hosts the favorite character awards and sees that who won most popular character? Well, here's a shock for you. Nobody liked him. Nobody casted their vote for him. They, gave the votes to Ming, basically. It's really funny. We'll get to Ming, but yeah. Basically, an NPC won most popular character over him, and he finds out nobody likes him, and it's hinted that this is going to be his start of darkness. Kane is going to get much, much worse. I can see him as a laughably evil villain. Again, he's going to be like Am, mixed a bit with Wheatley from Portal 2. I do like his crazy design, the weird mouth with eyes just floating in there, and he's got this ringleader outfit. He's really funny, really kooky, really quirky. Definitely threatening at times, because we see him start to lose patience with some of the circus gang, like when Zubul is refusing to participate in anything. He has these rare murderous moments where he thinks about killing them, hinting that Kane is definitely falling even further. Hey, Monica the Savage Bear, Ming the Mannequin, you make your ass out of you and Ming. Kane is voiced by YouTuber Alex Roshan, who was known as the Autark back in his YouTube days, who was a video game countdown and voice actor. Glad to see his career in voice acting gotten much bigger. Yeah, he is pretty cool. Like his line, "You parasite!" Sorry my sister's not coming since she's far behind in the show. How are you far behind when there's only 6 episodes? I literally binged watched the show. Kane's more like King DDD and Kirby right back at ya. Kind of, though. I would also throw in Wheatley. He reminds me of the Portal 2 robot Wheatley, who's this scatterbrain, malfunctioning, defective moron. Kane is not very smart. He does have these amazing godly powers, but he does not know how to use them. He does not do a good job entertaining his guests, and he wants to be the good guy, which makes his sanity slippage all the more sadder and terrifying, because he's kind of turning into the corrupt AI monster we know and hate from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. He wants to help these people. They don't like his help. It's clear he's failing them, and Kane is clearly malfunctioning. We find out that he wants to be loved, and it's upsetting him and tearing him up inside, slowly turning him into a monster. Some people theorize he's abstracting, but I wouldn't say that. I do think he's an AI. Sorry, catch up on comments. You think there's gonna be an Abel in this show? I think that's supposed to be Kinger, but we'll get to that soon. Yeah, he's more like King DDD. Sorry your sister doesn't like the show, or hasn't caught up. Also, he feels like an Owl House character. Design-wise, but it's very clear he's supposed to be Am. TADC doesn't really have a villain. The closest is Kane, but even then, he's not really antagonist or malicious. I think he's getting there. I think that's what the show is trying to do, that Kane is going to become the villain. He's short-circuiting, suffering sanity slippages, and finding out that none of the circus gang actually like him. They didn't cast any votes for him in any of the favorite character awards. That very much triggered him, and I think we're gonna start seeing a more sour, depressing Kane. If not full-blown psycho villain. Since how does he eat with his eyes on his teeth? Ming the Mannequin. Yeah, we'll get to him. I don't think he actually eats. Again, he's likely AI, and none of the characters can die in the video game world, so he's somehow keeping them alive. I wish Kane's actor played the Joker of Mark... if Mark Hamill already retired. Mark Hamill did retire from playing the Joker. He retired because he said without Kevin Conroy, comedy has no punchline. Jax could probably be the main villain, doing what Jafar did in Aladdin, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. We'll talk about Jax when we get to him. I see where you're going with that, but yeah, for now, I do think Kane is definitely still an antagonist by this point, because it's very clear that he's growing to hate the circus gang. I find Kane irritating, but I understand that you put him on S tier. Yeah, he's funny. That's kind of why he's on here. He is pretty funny. He's enjoyable. He did the sin of killing off Gummy Goo, but as he pointed out, he's just a pointless NPC. Also didn't like that he rejects the suggestion box. He's very butthurt that the gang do not like his ideas. He's in control of everything. He's practically their god, and none of them give him an ounce of respect. They're all afraid of him, or they all outright hate him like Zooble and Jax do. Like he feels like the aftermath of the Phantom Virus. Kind of, though he made no baseball puns. And I have a feeling that he knows how to get the cartoon characters out, but doesn't want to because he may be possessive. Yeah, I think Kane wants to keep his existence running. The Digital Circus is heavily implied to be a video game. He's trying to attract people to his game, because Kane is all but implied to be a computer AI. He's like stuck on this office computer, abducting people and forcing them to play because he's afraid of the harsh reality that he's a faulty program, he's an out-of-date game, and that people will forget he exists, and all this is really doing is turning more people against him. Like film theorist makes a theory that the amazing Digital Circus, like Pomni, is Jesus. I did see that. They did the Last Supper parody in the first episode. There are, like, biblical symbolism here and there, but not as heavy-handed as you'd think. Again, with the Judeo-Christian references. What would a Digital Circus storyline be like in Kingdom of Hearts? Very funny. I could see Jax capping Mickey Mouse and Sora. Okay, so I do like Kane. He's pretty funny, he's enjoyable, he's kooky, love his design, love his story arc so far. He pretty much just wants to be loved, he wants the attention, he wants people to appreciate him, and he's doing all of this for them, but in reality, they're all afraid of him. They do not like him, they do not like his circus, and he pretty much stole their lives entirely just to play with them. So, I do think Kane is on his way to becoming an antagonist or a much bigger villain threat, but as a character, I think he's enjoyable. I'm putting him onto S tier. Alright, so I guess we should talk about the character I know everybody wants to talk about, that wascally wabbit Jax. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about Jax. So, I know we're gonna get a ton of flame war in the comments and chat, but Jax, going on to A. Yeah, I could already hear the outcry. Why isn't Jax on S tier? He's the best morally complex character. It's like, okay, I like Jax fine. The problem is, he is a dick. Jax is an idiot bully, but a layered idiot bully. Jax is the token douchebag of the group. He's the evil teammate, he's the downer, he's the jerk, he's the quote-unquote funny guy, but really he's kind of the troublemaker of the team, always bullying Gangle, corrupting Pomni, being an ass towards everyone, especially Zooble and Ragatha. Jax, I do like as a character. Michael Kovac, who played the original Angel Dust, plays him, and Kovac really does flex his acting skills here, because he is a pretty neat blend of funny, deep, dramatic, and a total spotlight stealer. Jax's design, not one of my favorites. I am not a fan of the Looney Tunes rabbit look they gave him, but Michael Kovac's voice definitely fits him, and the character actually proved to be much more layered and deeper than we initially thought. Jax, the comedic a-hole unhinged rabbit. Yep, that's him. At least you didn't put him on F. Yeah, I do kind of like him. And from Murder Drones would not like Jax, which is ironic because they're both voiced by Michael Kovac. So explain my Jafar comparisons. Like Jax is played by Michael Kovac, who does a great job. Hang on, just gotta catch up on comments. Don't trust Kane. Kane is hiding something. Yeah, we all know that, but that made him more interesting. Well, if Disney could own the Glitch production is independent. Yeah, thankfully. Disney would probably ruin it too. Cast Mark Ruffalo as Kane. If the Digital Circus had an actual game, what should it be, if you ask me? Would have a similar plot point, and you can insert your Digital Circus OC. Also, each section have a different gameplay loop. I would definitely say the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream game kind of reflects the show. Though minus that gunfight. I think I know what you're trying to say. He's like the Jafar. He wants more. He wants the power. He wants to hijack control of the Digital Circus. Jack starts out as basically the dickhead of the group. He's mean, he's nasty, he's always snarky. That kind of made him funny though, because he's very good at mean-spirited comedy, always snarking at everything the characters say, always being a jerk, and he loves getting into violent fights. He treats the circus as what it's supposed to be, a video game. He believes they're cartoon characters, and we slowly but surely find out Jax does have more to him than meets the eye. It's implied Jax did have friends here at one point, but they abstracted. For those of you who don't know, some of the game characters glitch so hard and crash out in the video game that they go from fully playable characters into abstract, deformed monsters. Yeah, abstraction is pretty much the looming threat of this. If a character ever goes so insane or tries to escape from Kane, they turn into this giant blob monster with 1,000 eyes. They look like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster, and basically lose themselves completely, forcing Kane to lock them up in the quote-unquote cellar. He like plucks them out of the game and puts them into like a pocket dimension, and Jax allegedly lost some friends. He had like a frog friend who used to be close to him. We have not found out more on this character yet, Ribbit, so sorry, Ribbit's not on this tier list because Ribbit's already long gone out of the picture, but Jax was best friends with this Ribbit character, and losing them kind of broke something inside of him. It's what turned Jax into a dick, and all the circus gang members who aren't Pomni imply that Jax used to be respectable, used to be liked, and Ragatha even tried opening up to him and being friends around him, but Jax has none of that. He's emotionally closed off. He's acting like a jerk, accepting that they're archetypes, characters in a cartoon. He's the funny one, and he sees them all as his playthings, but we find out this is a massive, massive cope so he doesn't go insane. He's lying to himself, trying not to form attachments, and basically, it's all an act. His jerk persona is all an act. It's a front, it's a facade. He's trying to pretend he's a tough guy, that this isn't affecting him, that he isn't scared, that he isn't traumatized by the Digital Circus, but in reality, he definitely is. And when Pomni tries reaching out to him, he has that deranged moment where he snaps, he refuses to fight her, and has these creepy fake smiles to try and pass everything off as a joke, and he does not want to attach himself to anyone, even Pomni. He looks more like Roger Rabbit than Bugs Bunny. Yeah, he kind of does, especially with the overalls. Jax looks like what happened if Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's was a Looney Tunes character. I do agree, he looks kind of like Roger Rabbit, but purple. The actor of Asta, Shazam, Son Goku, and Goku Black in Death Battle, and Doughy the Doughman in Poppy Playtime. Oh, Michael Kovac played all those. Okay, I did not know that. Ragatha knows more about the circus than she's saying. Yeah, she does. Like Jax breaks Gangle's mask. Well, sometimes the other characters or unfortunate events also break it. Gangle's mask always gets broken for like a running gag. Jax usually is the one who breaks it, but occasionally some events out of her hands also break it. I just know Jax is going to be really unhinged in the next episode after what happens in episode 6. Yeah, Jax has a panic attack / mutation moment. What Pomni says actually does get to him. We see him like go into the bathroom and he's like freaking out, and the fans are kind of debating what happened here. Some say he's having a full-blown panic attack, and some say he's abstracting. I do believe he was abstracting. When he's there, his, like, eyes are changing. He's, like, glitching out. His head is also changing shape. I think they try to make it look like he's breathing heavily, but it's clearly abstraction. I do think he was going to transform, and Jax mentions earlier that you don't know what people are like before abstracting. They are terrible, and you do not like being around them, and that's kind of what Jax has been for the entire series, implying that he is going to abstract or at some point fully break down. Abstraction gives me Pibby vibes. I just know Jax is going to be really unhinged. Yep, in the next episode, definitely. And I thought Jax was entertaining. I enjoyed the part when he has two characters in his mouth and mauled them. I find him funny because he is so mean-spirited. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I would say Jax reminds me of Roger Smith. He's a total bitch, but a really funny bitch at it. We find out he's kind of coping, though. He's putting up a tough guy facade. It's all a front, pretending nothing is getting to him, and it's his way of dealing with everything. However, the only reason why he's on A is because I do agree with the other characters. He's kind of crosses the line. He's like full-blown nasty, mean-spirited, and unfortunately we have not seen what episode 7 is going to be like yet, so if we do see Jax fully go insane, I might redo this tier list and put him onto S tier, but for now, with what we got, kind of A tier. He does kind of fill the position as idiot bully character a little too well, and I do not like how he treats Gangle, because Gangle's one of my favorite characters. So yes, absolute bias towards Jax. Like, made Jax as creepy like Ragatha maid outfit should have been. Should have been, but I think Gangle wanted to get her revenge. Yeah, he also liked to maul evil Jax. Jax's design bears resemblance to Roger Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, the overalls and the snarky bunny appearance. He kind of looks like a Mickey Mouse type of character. Enjoy the mean stuff he did, but minus his beef with Gangle. Yeah, I do not like how Jax treats Gangle, because Gangle's one of my favorite characters, and seeing her always bullied and abused by him definitely really pisses me off, because Gangle does nothing to deserve it. It's implied Gangle might have had a role in Ribbit's disappearance, which is why Jax is kind of projecting a lot of hate towards her. Again, nothing confirmed, but we'll have to see where the show goes. And praying that Jax won't get abstracting. Yeah, or won't get abstracting. Let's hope. I do think Jax might be able to redeem himself, but I can see him as the one pulling like a heroic sacrifice. Like, Jax might finally open up and die trying to save his friends from Kane or some other villain or something. People are hinting that Jax might become the villain, which I can see. His arc really reminds me of Simon from Infinity Train. Yeah, anybody remember Infinity Train? Cartoon Network's only purged it from everywhere, but yeah, Simon was kind of also the funny dick character, but as the series went on the train story, Simon very clearly goes unhinged, loses himself to the madness, and kind of becomes his own worst enemy. He backstabs his own friends, tries to take over everything, treats their alternate pocket dimension as his personal playground, and eventually dies because of his own unhinged insanity. He tries to kill his friends and ends up killed by one of the monsters in their dimension, killing him in a really horrific way, but obviously as a sign that he was his own worst enemy and his evil was what eventually killed him. That's what they're implying to do with Jax, I believe. I know fans might theorize he might become the villain. He's gonna steal the Digital Circus, but I don't think I'm ready to believe that yet, based on what we've seen. Like Jax makes me laugh that Gangle also used the Clockwork Orange treatment. Yeah. At the end of the episode, I've almost screamed because I thought Jax was going to abstract. Oh, really? You thought that? Yeah, I thought he was going to abstract too, but some people say it was a regular panic attack. I don't believe that because his eyes were, like, clearly changing. Like, in a blink and you miss it moment, you see, like, his eyes are starting to change, the pupils turn into like swirls, and he's like losing himself and losing reality. I do think it was abstraction, but others claim that no, he's having like some anxiety attack because he's afraid Pomni is right. Like Jax's design was inspired by Poppy from Poppy the Performer because Gooseworks is a big fan of the show. Okay, I do get a lot of more Looney Tunes vibes from the characters. Did anyone notice about Goose's tweet? She never mentions about Jax in episode 9. Yeah, he might turn evil or die. Jax being like Roger Smith, use of words of expressing something other than their literal intention. Now that is irony. I've heard episode 7 is going to divide the Digital Circus fandom, said by Gooseworks and others. Yeah, so something is going to happen to one of the characters, and everyone is banking on either Jax or Kane? Kane because he got the post-credit scene, but Jax because he's been having a lot of spotlight. Also, why can't Kane just make NPCs so they can play his game? Because he wants human interaction. He wants, like, real living people to acknowledge his greatness. Again, Kane is kind of inspired by Am that way, and Am killed all human life except for 5 people, but he realizes that it might be a huge mistake killing them off too, so he keeps them around, basically to bask in his greatness and torture them. That's kind of what Kane's doing. At least Gangle got her revenge on Jax by making him watch her employee re-evaluation video, Clockwork Orange style. Also, I believe she was the one who got him in the maid outfit in episode 5. Yeah, it's totally Gangle. Some people said it was Zooble. No, we don't see Gangle casting a vote for that, so it was clearly her suggestion. No, you don't watch the Sun and Moon show, but with you do a ranking with the characters. Not sure. I might have to see them. I have no idea what the Sun and Moon show is. Like the Night, whatever, is another Dana Terrence production. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch it because I did not like how season 3 of The Owl House ended. And Dana Terrence is not one of my favorite creators. Like abstract, just like a reference of biblical accurate angels. Yeah, a lot of biblical messages and symbolism in this show, which I do kind of appreciate. Jax, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. Kane just wants love. Yeah, that's what made him very interesting. Jax is a pretty funny troll, but yeah, so far I do like what they're doing with his character. Unfortunately, the only reason he's not on S is because his mean moments do not justify his actions, and he does kind of come across unsympathetic, especially in the earlier episodes. It isn't until halfway in where we finally get to see more of him, but for now, we'll put him onto A tier. Jax is definitely an alright rabbit. Alright, so who should we talk about next? I guess we should bump off one of the NPC characters. Let's talk about Ming. Ming is going into S tier as number 1 because Ming is the best character. You don't assume, because you'll make an ass out of you and Ming. And Ming does not appreciate you making an ass out of him. Yeah, Ming won fan favorite character, so of course he's going on to S. He is awesome. Remember that people ship Jax with Pomni? Might as well terminate it. Yeah, I don't ship Jax with Pomni at all. I think he's like just too mean to find a romantic interest. Some people said Zooble might be into Jax too because she wants to have sex and Jax actually looks at her curiously. But I think she definitely hates Jax too. So, Gooseworks did openly proclaim that there's gonna be no romance arcs on the show, like none of the characters are gonna fall in love and hook up by the end, though I do think she might be trying to fake us out there, but we'll see. Anyways, Ming is awesome. He won Fan Favorite Character Award, so of course he's the fan favorite. He's number 1. Like Ming is funny. No, Ming is a C tier character. Yeah, Kane literally invented him for a joke. Alright, we'll put Ming... Yeah, don't worry, I'll put Ming on the low S tier then, at least. Yeah, make Pomni number 1 so far. Alright, so I think we should also knock off some other NPCs. We'll get rid of the... Where is it? The Gloinks. The Gloinks are going on to D tier character. These are the Gloinks. They're children of that big-ass sandworm monster from Beetlejuice. The Gloinks have funny moments. They're basically her children, who I assume are going to grow up into NPC characters for the video game. But all they really do is some funny stuff in the background. They're going on to D tier. Speaking of which, we should also take out the mom. Really caring mom, but also a very vicious monster. Yeah, this looks like one of the sandworms from Beetlejuice. I'll put her onto C tier. Not much of a character. This is an NPC slash boss fight character. Really cool and threatening in the first episode. Then kind of nerfed into a comedic side character in the future game stuff. I do like that they made her look like a Tim Burton-esque monster, and she tells Pomni all about Gloink reproduction in graphic detail. Yeah, I'll put her on to C. Like destroyed Zooble. Gloinks are more like limbless Goombas. Like you're committing to the bit with Ming, lol. He did win Best Character. Yeah, Ming is the best fictional character in all of existence. Ming is funny. The Gloink Queen. Yeah, these are the Gloinks. They're villains in the video game slash side characters. It was pretty hilarious that they came back up in the fast food mission and they're like just random customers. Like the Gloink mother like eats the line in front of her and the kids are like playing around in the back. Yeah, they're funny for a gag, but not much as characters, so that's why we're putting them on to low. Speaking of which, also, look, Pomni, it's the princess. I'm not a child, you don't have to hype me up. I do like the Princess Lollipop of the Candy Kingdom character. She was kind of funny, but not too much of a character. She's basically kind of a Zelda slash Peach NPC. She gives them their mission to hunt down Gummy Goo and defeat an evil monster, and that's really it. Plus, she might be dead based on what Jax did in the ending. Jax, like, purposely left the gates to their kingdom open, and we hear an invasion happening, so yeah, she might be gone. So, do you think you will do a Purple Rangers tier list someday? There aren't too many Purple Rangers. There's like 5. Like better than Go Eat Worms, Mother Worm? Yep. The hilarious part is that the Gloink Queen is played by Else Lovelock. Don't know who that is. Kane. And the winner is me! Oh wait, I misread that. It's Ming. Ming. You shouldn't have assumed I would have won. Now we both look foolish. Oh, Charlie's Morningstar plays the Gloink Queen. She does? I did not know that. Her, like, voice is, like, really deepened. She feels like Princess Bubblegum. I'm pretty sure the whole kingdom is most likely dead. Yeah, Jax kind of doomed it at the end for the lulz, and yeah, she's pretty much gone. Speaking of which, Candy Elephant, also going on to D, random character. Not really much personality, and it also dies. Also, the Mud Monster. I like that this thing looks like the great mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day, but this monster also gets accidentally killed by Pomni and Gummy Goo. He almost kills the gang, and then he gives them a lift, and then when their car launches out of the hard drive, they accidentally kill him with a headshot. Really funny, though. Also, I think Gummy Goo's gang, they're funny. I might put them onto C tier at least, because they have funny jokes. But let's talk about Gummy Goo, and Gummy Goo will go into A tier. Yeah, this is Gummy Goo and his gang. These are his two bros. They're kind of his henchmen characters. They have funny lines, but really all they are sidekicks to him. Gummy Goo himself, he is the one who actually gets a rather profound and detailed character arc. Gummy Goo is a villain programmed in one of the missions. The gang are sent into the Candy Kingdom to stop him from stealing stuff, and Pomni and Gummy Goo get lost and stranded in a glitch in the game. They fall into the hard drive, and Gummy Goo has a major existential crisis, realizing that he's nothing but a fictional character. Gummy Goo sees himself in the programming and realizes that he's an NPC. He's a video game character, his life is a lie, he's nothing but circuits and bolts, he's been programmed his entire life, and he has this huge breakdown, realizing that he doesn't know what he is, everything has been a lie, and that he's just a toy to be played with. And this is where Pomni undergoes some massive character development. Pomni befriends and reaches out to him, they become total friends and team up together, they escape the hard drive, and he and Pomni decide to live together. Gummy Goo is convinced to go with her and live in the circus, finding himself, and then Kane kills him. Yep, after all that, Kane writes him off as nothing, doesn't want to mix the players up with the NPCs, and Gummy Goo randomly explodes. Else Lovelock voices Uzi, the main protagonist, in Murder Drones. That's the thing, I have not watched Murder Drones beyond episode 1. The monster is the Fudge. Yeah, that was him. He looks like the great mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like I want Gummy Elephant. Veratan did the illustrations for Howl's Moving Castle Publications. Oh, cool. Veratan, a Singapore-Australian voice actress, voices the princess Lulalu in episode 2. She's also an artist aside from her voice acting work. Yeah, I know a lot of them are YouTube stars or artists online. It's a parody of the Steve Harvey Messed Up the Universe pageant. You can't believe how many Gummy Goo fan art I've seen. The internet is psychotic. Yeah, a lot of the female fans are very thirsty for Gummy Goo. They like drew him as like this guy who's like buff and jacked. Like when I say buff, I don't mean like this buff, like normal. I mean like Incredible Hulk jacked. He has like Hulk muscles. He's like huge, a total alpha male. A lot of the fans really loved him. I do like him too. Unfortunately, he dies in his first episode right when he got character, but that was not the last we see of him, which is why he's going on to A tier, because Gummy Goo returns alive and well, albeit reprogrammed. Sorry, I got my waters to stay hydrated because it is a hot summer day. But Gummy Goo shows up in the fast food mission and has no memory of Pomni. It's implied he might recognize her. We know Pomni recognizes him. She's like trying to talk to him, trying to make him remember, but it's clear it's not working, or Gummy Goo does not fully recognize Pomni. He's like being weirded out seeing Pomni trying to talk to him all throughout the restaurant. But Pomni eventually lets him go, realizing that, yeah, he's back to being an NPC, and Gummy Goo hints that he was starting to remember and befriend her, but we haven't seen him again yet, but he does walk out the door and out of her life for good in that very heartbreaking shot. He's played by Jack Hawkins, an Australian actor. Very heartbreaking moment when Pomni sees Gummy Goo again in episode 4, but no, she can't really bond with him like before. Yeah, he got amnesia, he was reprogrammed, he might remember her, but also clearly doesn't fully. He does walk out because he is nice to her, even though she's acting weird, but it's very clear it's not the same Gummy Goo. Yeah, it reminded me of that episode where Tara had amnesia in Teen Titans, and she may or may not remember Beast Boy, but wants to move on in her life. Like he returns in episode 4 in the Burger King parody. Was that a Burger King? I thought they were like kind of being an Arby's or something. Hey, and the gays, I like him. Okay, that is true. I can see gay people liking all these characters, alright? He feels like Killer Croc, but with a cool Australian Outback hat. Yeah, I do like Gummy Goo. Very tragic, sympathetic character. You kind of question if he's going to appear again. I am certain we might see Gummy Goo return one more time in the show, but it's very clear he's not going to be a stable rock for Pomni any longer. Pomni is going to have to bond with her circus gang mates, but Gummy Goo will put on to A tier. He's a popular character for a reason. Like his arc, like his tragedy, and I do like his design where he's a gummy alligator. Really creative. We'll put him on to A tier. I think it's best for him to forget for his own safety. Yeah, who knows what Kane might do to him. Gator Goo is a fairly obvious parody of the real-life sports beverage brand Gatorade. Yeah, like I hope Scooby-Doo makes an Australian Gator Ghoul. They might. Let's just call it a fast food parody since they're all usually the same. Okay, I think we should also knock off the other fast food character, Orbs Man. Yeah, Orbs Man, he's pretty funny. We'll put him on to C tier at least. He's a funny guy made out of orbs, and he talks in an alien language. He's an NPC from previous adventures that Pomni wasn't a part of, and I do like his funny, bizarre appearance, because everyone's like, hey, it's Orbs Man. Oh, I remember him, and except for Jack's like, oh, I hate this guy. Yeah, it is funny how all the circus gang basically recognize him as some guy who helped them on a previous mission, but pretty funny cameo. I do like his trippy design. Reminds me of like those old Mario 64 games, or all the Nintendo 64 graphics. Really funny, but unfortunately lack of character, which is why he's going on to C tier. Let's just call it a fast food parody, yeah, since they're all the same. What about a Jax-inspired monster for Scooby-Doo? Did they do that in like the Be Cool Scooby-Doo? Is Disappearing Guy on here? Yep, here he is. We got Disappearing Guy. He shows up and then randomly disappears. Yeah, we'll put him on to B tier. He's funny. He's a recurring character, sort of. This is Disappearing Guy. He looks like one of the generic mannequins. Disappearing Guy shows up and then he disappears, like mid-sentence. Like, hey, now singing our national anthem, Disappearing Guy. Oh, say, Yeah, then he just glitches out and disappears. Yeah, pretty funny. We'll put him on the B tier. I wonder if this guy's going to be vital for later, because we see him, like, spying upon Ragatha at one point. Unless that was a random NPC. But we do see, like, one of the mannequins is, watching upon Ragatha, seeing her question her relationship with the others, and then he doesn't disappear in the funny way he's been disappearing. He actually, like, scurries off into the shadows, which is low-key creepy. Yeah, I'll put him on the B tier. Pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, say. Then he just disappears. Like, no explosion, no poof, no cloud. He just vanishes. He glitches out, which I guess really saves on animation. Orbsman, played by Benjamin Bembo Davis, is his voice actor. He's a YouTuber and animator. Oh, they actually got someone to voice Orbsman. Yeah, disappearing guy. Where is he? There's also the Jax-inspired monster in Be Cool Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I think there was like a killer were-rabbit or something in Be Cool Scooby-Doo. Like, not the guy who loves the burgers with the stupid sauce. Well, all the mannequins kind of look the same. That's kind of the big issue. They're all, like, generic NPC characters that Kane has not given a proper design. Kind of like the Viacons from Transformers Prime. Goosework said that was a different guy in an interview. Oh, that was a different guy. Okay, can I point out that Jax looks like the Phantom Virus? The smile and face, definitely, but the body, not so much. Alright, let's talk about another circus performer. Let's talk about Ragatha. Yeah, this is a character everyone either loves or hates. Ragatha, tough one because she hasn't really had too much until episode 6. Ragatha might put on to A tier. I'll put her above Gummy Goo at least. Yeah, I know a lot of people might be upset about this too, but Ragatha, I have not connected with as much as the others. I know what they're doing with Ragatha. I do sympathize with her. We are learning more about her backstory, but it happens like in the later episodes. Ragatha is the heart, the team mom, the caring, compassionate one, the voice of reason, the nice girl who wants to be there for everyone, the shoulder for people to cry on, offering them advice, offering them love, and being kind of the peaceful one of the team, though it's very clear she is really struggling and does not know herself as much as she thinks she does, and the other characters are not bonding with her as much as she really wished. We need a clip of disappearing guy for any future review. Yeah, we should. Ragatha was my secret waifu. Was Akira? Was. Sounds like you'd pick someone else. I don't really care about Ragatha. I know that's a harsh opinion. Yeah, that's kind of why she's on A tier for me instead of S tier. I want to like Ragatha. I do like her design. She does have her moments. She does shine as a character in a lot of scenes. Unfortunately, I'm not really clicking with her as much as the rest of the cast. Jax is at least funny, and Kane and Pomni are hilarious. Really like them, and they do get a lot more screen time. Ragatha has not exactly had a solo episode yet. They are trying to give all the Digital Circus characters their own spotlight moments, their own solo episodes, their moments of bonding with Pomni. Ragatha wants to be the heart of the team, but it's very clear she's very, very flawed. We do find out Ragatha pretty much comes from an abusive household. Ragatha is a country girl. She lived on a farm. She had horses she cared about. She had high expectations of her. I do think Ragatha might have been like a rich girl who lived on a southern plantation or something. She had this very controlling, oppressive mother. The mother and her had like a falling out before she disappeared. Ragatha is trying to like live up to a lot of other people's standards. She wants to be loved. She wants to give love. She wants to be the good girl, the friend, the conscious. Basically, she wants to be the hero of the team, but a lot of the team are having a difficult time bonding with her because it comes across as very insincere and condescending. Like, she treats Pomni like a fragile child who needs love, when Pomni is like a grown-ass adult the same age as her. Not that I hate Ragatha, but she's my least favorite character of the main characters, since she has the least development so far anyway. Episode 6 kind of fixed this. We find out she's trying so hard to be everyone's loving mother that she does not take care of herself. Kinger gives her the dark room talk, and Ragatha has this emotional breakdown because she failed Pomni like how she failed Jax. It's implied Ragatha and Jax were friends at one point. Then something happened that turned Jax into the cynical a-hole, and Ragatha has given up on being friends with him entirely. She hates Jax but doesn't want Jax to hate her, as she put it. I just found it funny when she was abused all throughout the fast food episode. She's thrown into the deep fryer grill, she hurts herself, and gets completely wasted on the stupid sauce. The stupid sauce makes her stupid, and very clearly a PG version of drunk. She's acting crazy, falling down, and saying stuff she doesn't really mean, or possibly stuff she kept to herself. Yeah, this is why I kind of dislike Ragatha a bit, because as the other circus gang performers point out, she comes across as very phony, very insincere, and she's trying to be nice because she wants to look like she cares, but doesn't know how to actually solve the problem. And yeah, I've known many, many women like this who tried to be the good girl, the mature one, but it's very clear that her kindness has a limit. She doesn't actually do much action or trying to help fix the problems, just being there for them to vent and talk to her, but doesn't know what she's actually doing. And that's kind of why a lot of people do not like Ragatha, because she's not offering any solutions and is just trying to downplay and calm everyone else down. It's not really kindness when she tells everyone a bunch of nice stuff, which doesn't mean much. Amazing Digital Circus Anime Night is free on YouTube and has 6 episodes so far. Highly recommend. I see Ragatha as the Daphne Blake of the Amazing Digital Circus. Really, I kind of see her as trying to see her as the Katara of the team. She wants to be the heart, but she's not mature herself yet. Also, if you're wondering, Pomni's 25, Ragatha's 30, and only 5 years older than Pomni. Yeah, which makes her a lot more condescending. Ragatha's only real fear is the fear of the centipede. Yeah, which Jax loves to mischievously exploit. What's the show and what's the premise? Talked about the Amazing Digital Circus, kind of just I have no mouth and I must scream. A bunch of characters are trapped in a video game world and going through Silent Hill adventures, learning about themselves. A lot of dark comedy and a lot of deep drama. Yeah, she's supposed to be a parody of the Raggedy Ann dolls. Yeah, do I have anyone who remembers those? The old Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. Kind of these cute, adorable rag dolls that could take, a lot of damage. They're very flexible. They look to have, the buttons in their eyes, have this wild, stringy hair. She's supposed to look like Raggedy Ann. She's kind of the cute doll girl. My favorite Ragatha moment, easily when she's getting shot and Jax is, blowing her head off and we see stuffing flying all around. That is so hilarious and such a fun image, but I love it. So, unfortunately, Ragatha has not undergone too much development. We find out that she's flawed. We finally see her open up about the cracks in her character, the fact that she's not good at being the good girl, and it's implied she and Pomni are going to finally talk to each other in episode 7 and undergo a real team adventure, since Ragatha has always been split up from the rest of the group, and has trouble trying to care about everyone. She's trying so hard to look out for everyone else that she doesn't take care of herself, which is why no one trusts her as the team's heart. I remember those dolls. I think they had a TV series. They also had a movie. The new Conjuring movies focused around that doll. Well, I see why she has the button in her eye. Yeah, she looks like a doll. Big fan of your videos, from the Haunting Hour to the Goosebumps to the Nightmare Room. Don't forget the Twilight Zone. We did add that show. But thank you, Saga/4. Really like you. Really appreciate it. I'll always think the stupid sauce is supposed to be a brain rot sauce as a funny jab at the Digital Circus brain rot content farm channel because it look at the effect. I feel so funny. I can trust Ragatha. I probably wouldn't yet. Did I miss something? We're already on Ragatha. Haven't finished the rest of the circus main cast, though. So don't worry, James. If you like this show, we have more main characters to talk about. Ragatha, I want to like her. I do like that she's flawed. She's being called out. She's kind of a deconstruction of the team mom, trying to care about everyone and be the beacon of hope, but it's very clear she doesn't know herself very well. Ragatha might get a few episodes that finally delve into her character, but so far I might have to put her onto A. There is another circus gang member who is lower on my tier list, but I do like her, and she's starting to win me over, especially with episode 6, where she finally breaks down and opens up to Kinger, but I do think Ragatha can get better as a character. For now, we're putting her onto A tier, because she is definitely interesting, and I do like her design. Next, let's do Bubble. Yeah, Kane's assistant, Bubble, the living Bubble, who looks like the Chomp Chomp from Super Mario. Bubble's going on to S tier. Yeah, I actually do like this little guy. This is Kane's second-in-command / comedy sidekick, Bubble. Bubble's this really kooky, psychotic, little bubble monster. Looks like the Chomp Chomp from Super Mario Brothers, albeit an actual bubble. And yeah, many funny lines from this character. I do really appreciate Bubble. Every time he does something, it's so random you don't know what to expect. Boy, Bubble, what do you think? Blah! And not to mention it's missing the sex appeal. Easily my favorite quote of the series so far. Yeah, Bubble's pretty hilarious. Wacky comedy sidekick. Kind of Kane's wacky, evil Power Ranger villain, always spying on the team. We do get hints that Bubble might be more dangerous than he lets on. Apparently somebody said he says a message backwards, which is actually a threat if you hear the line. And he's also spying on Kinger and Ragatha during their private talk. He's catching them on camera, but he turns it into a joke. I do think they are trying to present Bubble as more threatening than they let on. Bubble looks like a mix between a Boo and mostly Venom. I mean, do you see that with his tongue? Yeah, I do get Boo, but though it reminds me of the Chomp Chomp because of the big shark teeth design. So, Bubble is the clear-colored Pac-Man who's literally a bubble. Yep. Like Gooseworks played Bubble. Oh, that is Gooseworks. Okay, Bubble is even more unhinged than Jack sometimes. Yeah, they're teasing that Bubble might be a psychotic evil villain too, but oftentimes it's just the butt of many of Kane's jokes. I do see that Bubble might have a moment where he gets dangerous when they try to escape the Digital Circus, but for now, Bubble's pretty funny. This quirky, goofball, Pinkie Pie-esque character. I think Kane is about to abstract in the next episode. I think Kane is gonna malfunction and turn to the dark side. So does this have soft curse words or hard curse words? Fun fact, Anime Night, they do censor the curse words. They're built in with a censor. They have a moment, a bleep. The bleep blocks out whatever their curse word is, but you get what they're saying. I think they say crap at least once, so low-key swearing. They do say damn and crap a few times, but the F-bomb and the S-strike, yeah, those are completely censored. Evil Pomni uses the C word once, and that gets censored too, so yeah. They do censor him because it's kind of a joke at YouTube, because YouTube doesn't like cussing, otherwise you'll get demonetized. Oh, you want to talk about the evil versions? Okay, I was gonna save those for last to end on a high note. Bubble's even more unhinged than Jax. Okay, Gooseworks plays Bubble, I did not know that. It dislikes smoking. Both Bubble and Kinger's Meet the Gang teasers are connected. I'll have to rewatch them then. He feels like a rejected Owl House or Power Rangers villain. Yeah. Kane is gonna go full Am/Avengix. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I might see this. Only 6 episodes so far, Anime Night, so it is easy to catch up. Yes, I watched Power Rangers RPM when I was little on DVD and later in YouTube to binge watch all the episodes. Yeah, I recently got into RPM too. Even talked about it on a few tier lists and my scariest Power Ranger foes list. RPM was awesome. I really missed out on that show. But Disney got really bad with the Power Rangers in the middle of their era. Okay, so yeah, Bubble, pretty hilarious. I guess we should talk about another Digital Circus resident. Let's do Gangle. I love Gangle. Gangle's going on to S tier. This is Gangle. She's another one of the players in the Digital Circus. She's a drama mask, like a tragedy and a comedy mask, with ribbons slash strings tied to her as a body. Gangle has a really unique design. I do really like how trippy she looks. Yeah, we do find out Gangle is female. She is a she. And Gangle actually turned out to be one of my favorite characters ever. She's kind of the Fluttershy of the group. She's shy, she's socially awkward, she does not know how to talk to people, and worse, does not stand up for herself whenever she suffers wacky antics or Jax's bullying. Gangle is one of the more deeper and profound characters on the show. She's undergoing, basically growing a spine. Her hero's journey, becoming a better person, standing up for herself more, doing things she likes, and telling Jax to screw off, getting back at him, and forming a cute friendship with Zooble. Zooble is clearly the one who bonds with her the most, but I do love Gangle's design, her appearance, her personality, and the fast food episode was definitely carried by her. Definitely love Gangle. She had the best highlights in episode 4. Yep, episode 4 is the fast food mission. They kind of do a Sims video game in this. They're working at like a fast food joint, and Gangle is the manager. And it's here where we finally get to learn more about Gangle's character. A running gag of this show is that they always break her comedy mask. She has like 2 masks. She has her sad mask, her tragedy face, and her happy face, the comedy mask. The comedy mask always gets broken, which is supposed to explain why she's always depressed and sad. Gangle's kind of like an Eeyore slash Fluttershy character. She does not speak up at first. She's very quiet. She's antisocial, but the Digital Circus is kind of getting her to come out of her shell. She actually gets a working comedy mask, a happy mask, puts on a happy face, and it's very clear it's hiding her depression. Gangle is depressed. That's her problem. She does not like herself. She's not very happy. It's implied she wanted to be an artist, like a manga artist. She wanted to run like her own anime show, had a web series that didn't do well, and basically is depressed because she didn't achieve her dreams. She's not famous. She had to work a ton of crappy jobs, one of them being at a fast food joint, and being the manager here kind of stirs up a lot of old past memories. Yeah, I love Gangle. Gangle's played by Marissa Lenti. Okay, I heard she did a reaction to some of the episodes. In fact, I grew up with some Power Rangers series when I was little. Me too, SAG4. Power Rangers has been on for like 30 years, so I expect a lot of people grew up with it by now. We need a weird Bubble as an NPC or a human twist. Yeah, we do. I was first introduced to the Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie on VHS and rerun of the original series of ABC Family / Kids along with Emperor's New School, and I forgot the other show name. Okay, I first saw Power Rangers. My parents got me a VHS of the Psycho Rangers battle. That was my first intro to Power Rangers. The first show I actually watched on TV at the time was Lightspeed Rescue, though. Marissa Lenti is the director of the English dub of Kimono Friends. That explains why there's a lot of anime references around Gangle. And also voice actor in the show providing the voice of Grey Wolf. Cool. And new mask Gangle is a nightmare fuel, like we need a clip for a future review. Are you talking about when Ragatha gets high on the stupid sauce and sees Gangle's comedy mask as like this creepy pasta monster? Yeah, Gangle's mask like turns into Jeff the Killer, and it's really cool and really freaky. So, Gangle gets a lot of spotlight in episode 4. We find out she's depressed, why she's depressed, how she wanted to achieve more in life, but realized that her dreams were unrealistic and got crushed by reality, and is kind of abusing her authority here, being a total jerk, ironically, to all the Digital Circus gang members. She does get some revenge against Jax, in this episode especially. She has him, like, brainwashed a Clockwork Orange style, and she, tells off like like Pomni tells off Ragatha, then they tell her that they don't like her with the happy mask on, which makes her start to snap, and we find out the obvious symbolism. The happy mask is hiding her true feelings. She's faking being happy, faking being positive, when really she's completely sad and her emotions aren't going away by literally putting on a happy face. And Pomni actually does reach out to her. Zubul, I think, is much more stronger with their friendship. Zubul and Gangle actually do become a lot closer friends. Pomni is starting to respect Gangle a lot more, but Gangle doesn't know if she's ready to reach out to people yet. Gangle has that nice moment where she throws off the happy face and is actually happy to be sad. Then she's ran over by a truck because comedy. Yeah, she's an anime lover. Also, she's an anime lover. I do agree that Jax at the slice of life animes are boring. Yeah, shonen anime is the way to go. I guess he likes watching Angels of Death, Tokyo Ghoul, and Hellsing. Yeah, those are the classics. Moe's in Borderlands 3. Oh, she was in that. Sadie in One Piece. Joanna Greenleaf in Ruby. Malva in Pokemon Evolutions. And Mermaid in Toilet Bound Hanako. Never saw that last one. Was perfect revenge on Jax, making him watch the training video, which is basically the equivalent to the scene in The Clockwork Orange. Yeah, pretty much. Are you smiling? No. Why aren't you? Yeah, Gangle had some really creepy moments in that episode too. Even like she's like leering over Pomni and threatening her. Are you saying my authority isn't real? And has like this creepy unnatural smile. Yeah, Gangle's not well adjusted. Though I also love the guns episode where Gangle wants the Tommy gun. Gangle actually starts standing up for herself more. Zubul reaches out to her and she starts relating with Zubul a lot. Gangle starts standing up for herself, telling Jax she doesn't want to team up with him, and she is the one who called for the vote to have Jax in the maid outfit. That's pretty funny, but Gangle like gets hilariously chased by him because he's so pissed. Then, the gun episode, she wants the Tommy gun. We gotta get the Tommy gun! And she, like, wants Zubul to hold on to her happy face because she wanted to put it on when the time is right, getting that Tommy gun. And love her going nuts in the shootout. She's, like, cackling maniacally, shooting at Jax and Pomni, chasing them. That was actually a pretty badass Gangle moment. Yeah, perfect revenge. At the beginning of the Digital Circus, both Gangle and Zubul were kind of my least favorite character because they didn't do much, but from episodes 4 to 6, they somehow became my favorite characters. Yeah, they got a lot more focus. Gangle became one of my personal favorites. I really love Gangle. I think she's my second favorite character so far. And Bayonetta and Renamon in Death Battle. Oh, she was in that. Okay. Gangle's secret is whatever she did with some kind of figurine being revealed, particularly to Ragatha. Yeah, it's implied she's a weeb. She had anime figures, and Jax somehow knows that she, like, sleeps with them. Yeah, Gangle is a hardcore anime fangirl. Also, I think Jax used to work at a fast food joint because he was acting like one of those employees that don't care, and I think that takes him back. Yeah, that definitely, but he won't admit it because he doesn't want to relate with anyone. I had VHS of Power Rangers in Space with the Psycho Rangers arc, Time Force with the first 3 episodes, and Lost Galaxy with the first 3 episodes. Oh really? I never had a Lost Galaxy VHS. I had In Space, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue. I had the finale to Lightspeed Rescue, and I worshipped that DVD. VHS. And I did have the Curse of the Cobra arc on VHS. We did have some Ninja Storm. That was the last series I kind of got on VHS tape. Ninja Storm was where it stopped. Had the beginning to Wild Force 2, but nothing after that. I had the DVD of Mystic Force, which I don't remember the episode, with the one I remember when one of the Rangers turns into a tree. And RPM, Start Your Engines with the first 6 episodes. Okay, that's pretty much like 1/4 the series. Yeah, Gangle goes crazy with the Tommy gun. Love that scene. Gangle's design was inspired by Kizamono from Poppy the Performer. Okay, I did not know that. Like the morning I watch a vampire romance called Call of the Night. Gangle's name is a play on the words referring to her Gangle body. Okay, I did kind of get that. I feel like Gangle goes crazy like Harley Quinn style, but that's what made her funny. Gangle's always flip-flopping between being sad and being happy, and that's what makes her very compelling as a character to me. I do also really love her design, like the weird squiggly lines design made her very unique as a character compared to everyone else who looked like some kind of toy. Gangle in episode 4 is probably the only time a Digital Circus cast member became terrifying, not counting Possession Pomni because Pomni was in control before Jax in episode 6. I watched Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Plus Zexal, Sonic X, and Digimon Adventures 01. Those are the only anime I watch. Yeah, all the Kids WB and Fox Kids stuff. Like fan artwork of his fetish of Gangle. I do like the Rule 34 Gangle artwork. They give her like a more effeminate body, but Gangle's one of my favorite characters anyway, so I do kind of enjoy her as a person. It is really weird, but the entire show is weird. I also remember that Gangle's episode made me crave McDonald's every time I watch it. Yeah, that definitely made me want to go out to some fast food place. I did finish Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force RPM, Samurai / Super Samurai, Megaforce / Super Megaforce, I'm sorry, In Space, and SPD. I still need to finish Wild Force, I'm on Time Force's crossover. That one was really awesome. I'm a Christian, I don't mind magic shows like Mystic Force or some clips of the Owl House. Yeah, I'm Christian too, but I watch Harry Potter. No, my parents did not believe it encouraged Satanism, it was just a dumb magic show. I watched Jigoku Sensei Nube, Pokemon Call of the Night, and etc. Yeah, I know you do, Akira. You bring it up in the comments all the time. Okay, so to wrap up, Gangle is awesome. Really love her as a character. She grew on me as soon as episode 4, and I think she's actually gotten better. She's starting to stand up to Jax, starting to find herself, starting to overcome a lot of her lack of self-esteem, if you will, and becoming a much stronger person who keeps up her happy face much longer than her sad face. And Gangle is easily one of my top 3 characters, so she's going on to S tier. Alright, next, I think we should also get rid of the clown guy. I think Kafka was his name. This was the guy who lived in the Digital Circus until he abstracted and became a monster. Unfortunately, I do have to put this guy onto C tier because we don't know anything about him. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I know his entire existence shows you what abstraction is. This is the previous circus clown at the circus before he was replaced by Pomni. This guy died off screen and abstracted into a monster. You can kind of see the abstraction art around him. This was the original circus clown before Pomni joined up. We find out he went insane finding the exit to the Digital Circus and abstracted into this disturbing, ghoulish blob monster with 1,000 eyes. It's Kaufmo. Okay, thank you, Kaufmo. I'm still into Power Rangers and Pokemon with me collecting Pokemon cards, even playing it. Ooh, good for you. And watch other tokusatsu series like Metal Hero series, Ultraman series, and the Kamen Rider series. Wolf is watching Kamen Rider too. Inspect Junto Ito since that horror anime almost lost my lunch. I know, a love and deep space character ranking. Thanks, Monica. Okay, this is Kaufmo. He was the original circus clown. He abstracted off screen. He's introduced in the first episode, and he's already turned into like a mutant abomination. He's an abstraction monster. He goes psycho, almost kills Ragatha, almost kills Pomni too. Pomni eventually defeats him, like he's trapped in the cellar by Kane, and Kane heals Ragatha and Pomni, finding out that abstraction can be spread by touch, basically. Unfortunately, we don't know enough about him as a character. He's kind of the starter villain of the show, if you will, turned into an abomination and a looming threat of what abstraction really is. It turns you into a monster, and you start terrorizing the people around you. He almost kills Pomni, and is basically her starter boss, which is why he's going on to C tier, because he's kind of a brainless monster by the time we actually meet him. But they do hold like a funeral for him, showing that the circus gang are indeed people after all, and they did apparently care about this guy, even though he's long gone. Unfortunately, I do have to put him onto C tier because he's a posthumous character. And I see Kaufmo is losing his mind like the Joker. Do you know that the clown was originally going to be one of the main characters? I did not know that. I honestly did not know that. Thanks, Akira. Like Gooseworks' joke that Jack Black voiced Cosmo for 0 lines. That'd be funny. Hi, Kat. What did I miss? Akira forgot to mention you're doing a stream. Sorry, I missed the Thundercat stream. Don't worry. We still have 2 major circus characters and all their evil counterparts. We talked about at least all the big ones, the main hero, the villain, talking about a few of the side characters to cross them off right now, but we still got quite a few to work with. I think next we should also do the Angel Head. Yeah, the Angel Head, best boss ever, going on to A. This is the decapitated angel. It's a twist boss fight in the 3rd episode. Yeah, they go to like Luigi's mansion, and Kinger and Pomni get drafted down the scary door, while Ragatha and the others go through the pacifist route. And Kinger and Pomni run into a surprise boss fight. This creepy-ass beheaded angel, where if you take your sight away from it for more than a second, it comes back and spawns into a creepy Lovecraftian boss fight. Yeah, Cosmo would have like a Joker-level freak-out. I watched Kamen Rider, Black RX, the original Masked Rider, and a little of Drive and 01. Yeah, my brother Wolf is getting into that show. I have not watched it beyond their terrible crossover with the Mighty Morphin Rangers. I wish there was a flashback episode about Cosmo, as well as all the other circus members before Pomni. Yeah, there really should be like a prequel episode at least to show how things fell apart. Also to get to know Cosmo. Like, can some Christian watch magic show, or are they strict? Yeah, you can watch some magic show. I think the hardcore satanic stuff might get you in trouble, though. For Metal Heroes, Metal Dur, Spielband, Tokosu Robo, Jamperson, Blue SWAT, and Juoku Beef Fighter, even VR Troopers, and Big Bad Beetleborgs. He was originally going to be one of the main characters, but there were too many characters for a so the Gooseworks has to sacrifice a character, so it was the clown. Well, the second clown. I feel like Castlevania scrapped monsters. Yeah, they definitely did. There's way too many human antagonists in Castlevania now. The angel's mouth hypnotizes, yeah, the deadlights from Pennywise. That's what it reminded me of. I got that like the first time I watched it. Oh, this is Pennywise's weird deadlights. It looks like the It 2017 remake. A mind control ability used by Pennywise, in particular, similar to how, yeah, the 2017-2019 films of Pennywise's Deadlights. I did see the Angel Head, and I think it's a good idea for a horror game. Yeah, that thing did look pretty nicely designed. I did not find it as, like, the creepiest monster I've ever seen. Sorry guys, you are talking to a horror fan, so it's gonna take a lot more than a screaming banshee head to really terrify me, but I just think it's pretty cool. It has like the Pennywise deadlights. We do see its decapitated bodies like walking around, also stalking Kinger and Pomni in the dark. In a twist, we find out it's actually an angel. The poacher ghost accidentally killed one of God's angels, and that's what got them haunted in the first place. Yeah, basically killing this angel and beheading it for a trophy was sacrilegious, and it's why the ghosts are haunting the house, and the angel is terrifying others. To be fair, we don't see the angel actually try to kill people, but it was like very much looming over Kinger, and clearly was gonna eat him with the deadlights. He's like memorized like looking right into its screaming mouth, and almost eaten by it. So this thing really is actually a threatening monster regardless, but I'll put it on to A. That monster definitely made a huge impact upon viewers. For Ultraman, Tiga, both English sub and 4Kids dub, Gridman, the Hyper Agent, Superhuman Samurai, Cyber Squad, SSS Gridman, SSS, Dyna Xenon, and Dyna. I'm kinda coming here expecting spoilers, but that way I won't miss out my friends when talking about this. Okay, Bat-Kid, sorry, we actually did catch up to episode 6, because the episodes are not very long themselves. You could actually, like, binge watch it in an entire day like I did. If only Pomni and Kinger's shotgun had angelic steel bullets from Hazbin Hotel to defeat the Angel Head. Yeah, if only. Depends on the context. I'll try to keep it minimal for you, Bat-Kid. In lore, the angel is one of God's angels and was mistaken for a demon by Baron Mildenhall. That was his name. Yeah, he shot it and turned it into a trophy. Then it came back to basically avenge its death and basically curse them. It killed them, and now their spirits haunt the house that they're playing at. I was thinking of watching the original Power Rangers plus the first Super Sentai series plus Zayu Ranger. Go for it, Saga. Like I'm an adult since I was born in 2002. Okay. People make theories of Baron Mildenhall as Kinger. That's what everybody thought, but no, it turns out he is an NPC. Speaking of which, I guess we should also talk about Baron Mildenhall. This is the tape recorder he's on. We see his corpse, but I guess they didn't put it on this tier list to keep it a surprise. Yeah, the Baron will also put onto A tier. Another creepy villain. This is their Halloween episode where the circus gang go to Luigi's mansion. And Kinger and Pomni are drafted down the scary door, where this is their opponent. The Baron Mildenhall is actually the spirit who haunts the mansion. We do see his corpse later, but he left all these Evil Dead tapes lying around. They find them, play them, and partake in the video game. And yeah, really creepy survival horror game kind of feel for this character. He's a posthumous character, talking about the things he's done, and giving hints to win the game and defeat the evil boss. But we find out in a twist, he's actually the real villain. He wanted them to kill the angel so they can be sent to hell and he can possess their still living bodies and escape from it. And I do like the Evil Dead design. They do have the tape recorder. This is very much based on Professor Nobi from the Evil Dead saga. How he left tapes about the Deadites and the Necronomicon around the cabin. Yeah, I did like that reference. I did not know Gooseworks was a fan of Evil Dead, because that's what all the tapes were pretty much referencing. Since I see some magic shows like 2020's Disney Channel animation have plot holes, yeah, that's kind of the bad thing about writing magic shows. You can easily make a mistake and a continuity error. Okay, sister, I get some context is important. What was going on in Kane's head when he made that thing? Kane wanted to scare them. He said it was rated M for mature Zoobles only, and he made the pacifist route, which half of the circus gang went into. Long story short, they were going to all take the pacifist route, but Jax was a dick and he threw he threw Gangle's comedy mask in the scary door. Kinger went after it and accidentally dragged Pomni with him, and they both went down to the scary mansion area, while Jax, Gangle, and Ragatha all went the pacifist route. They played with the nice ghost girl. Yeah, speaking of which, I suppose we should also count the Baroness, the wife. We'll put her on to B tier. Yeah, under disappearing guy. This is the Baron's wife. She's the boss fight in the pacifist route, and she gets one scene where she's drinking tea with the girls and bonding with them. Really funny because she's the nice ghost, while her husband is the evil ghost. Yeah, that's it. She's really a funny one-shot character. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Baron also tries to possess Pomni. Once they're dragged off into hell, Pomni sees the door on the other side, but they can't make it because they can't breathe. If they breathe, they get possessed by the Baron's ghost, and he nearly succeeds at corrupting Pomni, turning her into him, taking her body and trying to kill Kinger. How's your wife, Kinger? Hinting that this might be based off of Kinger or who he was in the real world. Episode 3 feels like a scary Scooby-Doo parody. It kinda was, though mixed with a lot of Luigi's Mansion and definitely the Evil Dead. I'm wondering what's gonna happen in episode 7. My favorite character is, of course, Zooble and Gangle. Oh, you like Zooble and Gangle. Okay. Fun fact, the stereotypical angel design is more of a Catholic thing, though angels have appeared sometimes in human-like forms, but there is no human or angel named Raphael in the Bible. What a twist. Yeah, but turns out the angel is actually the good guy, and the Baron was actually evil. He wanted to drag them into hell. We do see that one funny cameo. Please don't come to life. Okay, I won't. And he goes back to being a dead skull. Really funny moment, and it also scared a lot of people, apparently. I thought it was funny. They go to Luigi's mansion. At least it's not the Don't Forget Me house from Don't Forget Me. Yeah, this house is actually creepy. What a twist. What a twist. I see Baron Mildenhall's plot is better than Philip Whitbane. Like, this is a better villain than that cringe. Martha Mildenhall. Okay, that was her name. Martha Mildenhall. She had like one appearance, so yeah, she shows up in the pacifist route. She's the boss fight, and basically you talk to her and have tea with her, and she does kind of trash talk her husband. He could turn a 50-second story into a Greek tragedy. Really funny moment. I dislike Jax, even hate him for what he did to Pomni, but then I wonder what happened to him to make him like that in the past, and what is his relationship with Ribbit. Oh, she was also played by Gangle's actress. I did not know that. Okay, that girl has some pretty impressive range, considering how different Martha and Gangle are in terms of personality. I'm surprised that the wife wasn't traumatized from being shot by her husband. I guess she had time to get over it. It's implied they've been dead for years. Maybe Saga, Jax don't want to make friends, that's why he ends up losing them. True, V Scorpio. Digital Circus feels more like more brain rot than Skibidi Toilet to me. Crazy how big a fan base it has. Really, Bodhi, you don't like it? It's one of the best internet sensations right now. The ghost wife looks like humans look in Murder Drones, except all the ghosts light blue rather than shadowy black like on Murder Drones. Other Murder Drone spoilers warnings. Okay, so I guess they recycled that animation for the wife character as like a funny in-joke. Like, it is funny. I feel like that Bellus's wife should have been what she should have been. Okay. At least they didn't go the Resident Evil Mansion route, but knowing Kane, we won't be surprised that he would do that. We'll have to see. Can't seem to escape it, lol. Yeah, I decided to talk about it though, Bodhi, because I thought it was pretty fun. Okay, the scary boss fights, they're pretty fun. I do like them, they're enjoyable. Really neat twists, and it actually does feel like a horror video game. So, both the Baron and the Severed Angel, they're going on to A tier. The wife going on to B tier. She's funny for a one-off gag, kind of like Disappearing Guy. But that's really all I have to say about them. Speaking of which, we should also knock off the Discount Boo, who is going on to F. Yep, we finally got an F-tier character, and this character pretty much doesn't do much. He shows up as like a funny reference to Boo from Luigi's Mansion, and then Jax punk kills him. Yeah, that's it. Jax like sucks the ghost up in a vacuum cleaner, a la Luigi's Mansion reference, and that's all we got of this character. He shows them the scary door and the pacifist door, and then Jax busts him Ghostbuster style. Yeah, that's really it. Easily a weak character. Also, if Jack's abstracted, I'll stop watching the show. Will you really? We still have Pomni and Kinger. Please, no Murder Drone spoilers. I won't. I've only watched episode 1, and it was not for me. I think we should also bump off Kinger's wife, Queenie. Is it Queenie or Queener? Anyways, this character also sadly has to go on to C tier. I'll put her under Kathmo. This is Kinger's wife. She's the queen chess piece. Kinger actually had a wife, and they were both here in the system, but the wife abstracted. His wife became an abstraction monster, and Kinger was able to get through to her. We learned about her posthumously, and we do learn a lot more about her than Kathmo. The Queener or Queenie, whatever she's called, she's his dead wife. She was once his muse, his inspiration, the true love of his life. It's implied that they both invented the video game together, and Queener was a character in the Digital Circus until she abstracted. But we do see Kinger was actually able to get to her, reach out to her. He calmed her down by building that pillow fort, which is why Kinger has an obsession with building like pillow forts. He was able to like bond with her, relate to her monster form, calms her down. Unfortunately, she was sealed away by Kane because Kane is an evil douche, and that's the last we see of her. It's implied that we were going to learn more about this character, but just haven't yet. We find out she was actually a supportive wife, a loving girlfriend. She and Kinger really loved each other. She was like a bug scientist or a bug expert or something, and she like got him to open up, find out more about himself. He once hated bugs, but she showed him that bugs could be cool. She's kind of a very tragic, inspirational character to Kinger. Like Queenie. I like Queenie a lot more. I think that's her name, Queenie. Max Sturris from Wizard Wiz or simply Wiz is a British-born voice actor, writer, and artist who voiced Ghostly. That's Jax's fault that Boo is in F tier. Yeah, sorry. The little ghost character, the most forgotten Digital Circus character, so forgotten. There's not even a merch for the ghost character. Yep, Kinger says, in this world, the worst thing you can do is make someone think they are not wanted or loved, possibly pointing to Kinger and Queenie having an argument of sorts that led to her abstracting. Yeah, that's what the gist of her backstory is, that Kinger lost his wife at some point, and he feels tremendous guilt over it. Unfortunately, he's gone crazy and he's starting to forget her, but he's like trying to remind himself so he doesn't lose himself completely. He like builds pillow forts remembering her when they did that while she was abstracting. Unfortunately, I do have to put her onto C tier because we never actually get to see her or get to know her well on screen. Her death happened a long time ago, but she's clearly a character looming over in Kinger's memory. Unfortunately, Kinger is still being explored as a character, so she has to go down onto C. Alright, final two circus characters and the evil ones. And Kinger is keeping his escape plan a secret from Kane. Yep, but Bubbles might blow the whistle on that. It is Jax, not Jack. Like I thought he feels the wisp from Brave. Kind of. Maybe it would be possible if Kinger will figure out how to escape. That's possibly why he made that pillow fort. He's finding a way to escape, but more peacefully and intelligently. Possibly if he isn't actually crazy. I think the creators ship Pomni and Jax, or at least the merch developer. I personally don't mind it from what I know, but I've been cringed by the thumbnails on YouTube when I try finding some more content, SFW content. Yeah, that is kind of weird. It's Jax, not Jack. Spelled with an X, not a CK. Kind of like Mortal Kombat's Jax. So, Kinger is next? Yeah, we should. For any ship I'm interested in, or I find the cringe ones, instead I never looked. Okay. Curse you, autocorrect. Alright, let's talk about Kinger. Kinger going on to S tier, and yep, he's gonna dethrone Pomni because this is my favorite character. Really love Kinger. Kinger is awesome. He's funny, he's adorable, he's very layered as a character, and he's had some of the best moments of the series. This is Kinger. He's the oldest one locked in the Digital Circus. He's a giant king chess piece with googly eyes, and I guess hands and a coat, but yeah, basically a big living chess piece. I really like this guy. He is easily my favorite of the circus gang. He's really hilarious. He's the crazy one. He's like this really bizarre, quirky old man. He always says the randomest stuff, acts like Pinkie Pie, does weird stuff all the time, says random stuff, though it's kept kind of vague if he actually is crazy or smarter than he looks. And what puts him onto S tier are the exact scenes you know and love. Kinger having talks in the dark. So we find out that it's hinted at, or at least shown through the show, that Kinger can regain his sanity slowly if he's in the dark. And I think this is because he's like out of Kane's field of vision. If Kane isn't monitoring him or keeping control of the game, if Kinger is off on his own, in the dark, he regains his sanity and remembers his past. He remembers who he is and starts having sane moments. Kinger is much better than Ragatha at being the caring heart of the team. Kinger is implied to actually have his marbles all together, and being crazy is something faulty in his programming. It's something like Kane is forcing on him. But when he's like alone with both Ragatha and then with Pomni, he has like these very caring, nurturing dad talks with them where he helps them regain hope, regain sanity, and gets them to have faith in themselves and show them that he actually cares. Show them that there's hope, that there is good, and that we can survive by sticking together, and that you are better than you think you are. Those are what his talks kind of amount to. Yeah, they're very profound scenes in the show, but I'm kind of dumbing them down for this tier list. Kinger's played by Sean Chiplock. Kinger, the funny, crazy, but very deep character with the best advice. Yeah, Kinger is awesome. I think Kinger's pretending to be crazy so he can get the heat off himself. I do kind of think that Cain tried to mind rape him and made him crazy, but whenever he's out of Cain's control and sights, usually in a dark room, that's where we see the real Kinger. Kinger is actually sane when he's in darkness. When he's in darkness, he remembers like stuff his wife told him, remembers who he is, and gives like very compassionate fatherly advice to all the other characters. He helps Pomni regain hope and start trusting the circus more. Yet he does a much better job than Ragatha ever does, because he actually knows what he's talking about in these scenes, has smart ideas from time to time, and he convinces Pomni to have faith, to remember that there are people who care for her, that she can fight this and survive, and he like turns into like a glowing guardian angel helping them escape from the hell level. Yeah, they're locked in hell, and he actually helps Pomni out, helps her recover, and she starts seeing him as a friend. She sees him in a literally different light. Kinger turns into like her guardian angel, helps her out, and she gets a new perspective on him. And they do mention that once you're back in the game, you're just gonna be crazy and forget everything. But Kinger is like, no, I'll remember, because I do care about you, and there's more to you than meets the eye, and that he's like holding on to hope that he will hold on to the memories he's making with these circus gang people. Oh, and he was Mojito in Death Battle. He played, Sean Chiplock played Rivali in Great Deku Tree, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Chiaro Shigeru in Kami Can't Communicate, Yuki Mishima in Persona 5, and Noob Saibot in MK11. Oh, that was him. Ugh. Not one of his best performances. Like why famous Disney animators leave Disney Studio to work on independent studios. Because Disney is a terrible, corrupt company. And he was Dialog in Genshin Impact. He spent 7 years studying computer science, confirmed by him in The Mystery of Mildenhall Manor. Yeah, he did confirm that, so this is a fan theory. I can't confirm if this is true or not, but it's implied Kinger invented the Digital Circus. Kinger is the creator of the video game. Cain was his AI assistant who hijacked control of the game from him and basically mind raped him into the crazy Kinger we know and love. That he lost his mind because his AI stole the entire video game from him, stole his magical world, placed him into a VR chamber, and basically turned Kinger into this goofy ditzy joke that Kinger can't remember anything because Cain is clouding his mind. Yeah, it's believed to be that Kinger is the inventor of the Digital Circus. How? Because he understands how the game operates at times, he's able to adapt to it, and one of the biggest clues is he's able to give Ragatha an extra life. Like, Ragatha lost a life in one of the shootout games, and Cain was a douche and didn't give her all 3 lives back. Kinger used like his hacking skills to summon a magic butterfly, which gives you extra lives in the game, and that actually works. Ragatha questions how'd he do that, and Kinger is of course too crazy to give a direct answer. So, I do believe that fan theory. Kinger definitely played a part in the creation of this game world. Kinger might have actually invented this to help people, that he's actually a computer science whiz. He invented parts of this game, he understands the rules, he's able to adapt to a lot of Cain's mechanizations, and it's implied he might be the true ringmaster of the Digital Circus. That's why he's the king of it all, because he knows a lot more than he's letting on. And a lot of fans theorize he might be pretending to be crazy to hide from Cain's wrath, or he might actually be mind raped by Cain to not remember anything about his past. I know I'm going to disappoint people, but I do believe that Cain definitely did something to his mind, which is why he's acting crazy and only seems sane in a few places where Cain's not looking. Cain gives me the willies and I'm getting grandma teeth flashbacks. Sorry if it's TMI. That's okay, Bat Kid. Now I don't know what is going on, how is going on, who is going on, why is going on, but I do know where is going on. Yeah, he has a lot of funny lines. Reminds me of Pinkie Pie from MLP. Yep, he spent 7 years working on computer science. Again, a clue that he might have made the game. So like a version of Carl who didn't become cynical after losing Ellie, but still misses her deeply, but is suffering from old man sporadic slips of insanity. Yeah, I heard some people claim he has like dementia because he's mentioned to be the oldest member of the circus gang. I honestly don't buy that because there's no time flowing in this area. I believe he's gone crazy from Kane hacking his brain or something. Despite his lack of mouth, Kinger can still eat foods as shown in the pilot episode and the stargazing adventure in Untitled. Yeah, he doesn't. He's somehow able to eat sandwiches. Like the merch of the amazing Digital Circus, Abstract Sock predicted Kinger is going to be abstracted. I think Zubul actually is most likely to die. Kinger is like the old man McGunkett from Gravity Falls, a crazy and comedic character that have a deep and emotional backstory. Yeah, that's exactly similar to him, how old man McGunkett was actually a once brilliant scientist, but then lost his sanity and became this goofy, jokey, homeless man. Yeah, that definitely sounds like what Kinger is supposed to be. Maybe he's planning his escape in the darkness of his pillow fort. Then he will find a way to escape with getting caught but by Kane or Bubble, because if he created the game, it's clear that the AI went crazy. Yeah, we do see that Kane also has the dad talk with Ragatha. Ragatha's freaking out, feels like she's failed Pomni, and Kane once again delivers great fatherly advice, tells her that, oh, you still gotta care about yourself. It's important you know yourself before you're ready to help other people, since you don't know what their problems are like, and Ragatha realizes that there's more to Kane than meets the eye too, and actually respects him, though I do like this one scene where Kane, Ringer is giving good advice to Ragatha, then we see him freeze up, and he sees that Bubble was filming them. It's implied that Bubble is going to rat him out to Kane. He's has a camera and he's making a joke saying, oh, this will look good on the play-by-play. He's filming stuff for the competition, and it's implied that Bubble might be ratting Kinger out to Kane. He's going to tell, saying that, oh, Kinger's not insane, he still has a fraction of his sanity. And I do believe that Bubble is definitely more evil than we think. That Bubble is going to use this info that he filmed on camera to show Kane that he's losing control and that Kinger has not fully lost himself. And fortunately, sorry, I can't help but theorize, agree. It charges in Latin America. Unfortunately, so is WB. Yeah. Akira, have you seen most of Disney's modern projects? Yeah, a lot of them suck. I know, they lose teeth is gross, but not in the stream. Well, mostly okay. Kinger is a better king than Emperor Bellos. Yeah, by a large country mile. Well, mostly okay. Basically, Bubble is a narc. Yeah, basically. I do think that's why we see, King freeze up when he sees Bubble, because he's afraid, did Bubble, catch him in a moment of sanity, in a moment of clarity, showing that Kinger is not the crazy wackadoo we all think he is, that Bubble is going to report this directly to Kane, and Kane, definitely the antagonist, because I think he's going to freak out realizing that Kinger has not been turned into one of his subjects fully. It's possible Kinger has been in the circus since 1995. Yeah, that's what Gooseworks implied. Kinger uses a shotgun left-handed. Yeah, he is. He's a unique character like that. But I love Kinger. He's funny, he's kooky, he's easily the most hilarious character in the cast because he's completely insane and ditzy by this point. He doesn't know what's going on, though. It's implied he might be smarter than he looks. We do see he regains sanity in the dark. He's building pillow forts all the time, so I think Monica might be onto something, that he might be constructing an escape or trying to regain his marbles enough to think about how to defeat Kane and save everyone. everyone, which would be interesting if that does prove true, but for now, Kinger, easily my favorite character, the wisest member of the team, the funniest character, and I do really like his kooky, weird design, the chess piece with googly eyes. Really curious to find out what happened between him and Queenie, his wife, but I guess that's an episode for another time. For now, this character easily my #1 favorite. He's why is going on. Kinger, quick, pop the bubble. Yeah, he should have. And we have about Kinger is able. The only normal character is Aragatha. At least she tries to keep herself sane. I think Gangle's pretty normal. Pomni tries to be normal, but she's also freaking out. Yep, we have Zooble next. Kane is the mother. Gothel had an equally evil 50th-generation grandson who had a similar personality, and Kane is based on his personality. Okay, I did not know that. Like I played chess once. Yeah, they look like chess pieces, which I found pretty creative. I think that's why they're calling him Kinger, because he's the actual king of the Digital Circus, not Kane. Kane was supposed to be his supporter, but Kane decided to take control of the circus himself, and Kinger became another contestant on it. But I like Kinger. He's why is going on. Alright, now we're at the final few. Don't worry, we'll end on a positive note, but we have to talk about our last main Digital Circus player, Zooble. Alright, I am going to piss off so many people and get so much hate, but Zooble is not one of my favorite characters. Zooble going on to B. Yep, I can hear all the hate comments, all the people in the chat screaming, why do you hate Zooble? Are you a hater? Okay, I have not gotten attached to Zooble that much. Zooble is easily one of the least developed characters on the show. We get hints and pieces that there's more to Zooble than meets the eye, that Zooble has this deep traumatic backstory. However, it hasn't happened yet. Zooble has not had her own solo episode. Zooble has not come out of her shell. Zooble has not revealed too much about herself beyond she doesn't like her body. And this could mean literally anything. A lot of people say, oh, Zooble's possibly trans or non-binary, or, you know, she could be a morbidly obese fat kid who doesn't like the way she looks. I do think Zooble is a she. Gooseworks has come out and said that, no, she is not non-binary. Zooble is trying to find herself, which is why she builds a lot of pieces onto her. Her body is deformed, is a metaphor for her trying to find the right pieces that fit, which is interesting. However, it's not as deep as the other character backstories. I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna piss you off, but I'm just gonna say it. Zooble is not my favorite member of the Digital Circus. Now, that can change. Zooble can easily go from #0 to #1, but for now, just not super impressed by her. Zooble is the grouchy one, she's the cynical one, she's the Razor, the RC, the Black Ranger Dylan, she's the downer, cynical one, who has a heart of gold. She's a jerk with a heart of gold. She doesn't like the Digital Circus at all, but she actively refuses to play it, is always disrespecting Kane, refuses to participate in any matches, finds excuses to leave, but is forced pretty much to keep playing, and we find out more and more about her as the show goes on, but the problem is, they're small hints, they're small pieces, teases of a greater character arc, but nothing as profound as Jax's freakout, or Kinger giving lectures, or Gangle and her entire fast food adventure. Zooble has not had time to shine on her own. At least her banter with Jax or Kane is still funny. Yeah, that's why I put her onto B tier. She does make me laugh. I do find her moments at least entertaining. Zooble has a funny joke here and then. I do like that she doesn't put up with anyone's crap, though she hasn't really bonded with Pomni at all, which is kind of weird. She's like the one character who doesn't reach out to Pomni. They banter once or twice, but don't really have a friendship. She actually does reach out with Gangle, but I think Gangle's the character getting more development from this friendship. Like, Gangle's the one coming out of her shell more. Gangle's finding herself. She tries to open up to Zooble. Zooble does reveal parts of herself, that she has this dark past, but nothing very clear. It's kept very vague, and that's my problem with her. Also, Zubul may be goth, which is weird because her appearance is so colorful and quirky. Zubul, I guess, is supposed to be like one of those assembly dolls. She looks like a Picasso painting. Gooseworks did confirm that she is a she. She's not non-binary. A lot of people say that, well, she uses they and them. Well, she could also be trying to change her identity through the game, or possibly in real life too. Ashley Nichols is the voice actress of Zubul. Ashley did work for the Animaniacs reboot in the animation. Really, not in the voice cast. Well, it didn't actually help that she refused to go on many adventures. Yeah, that's also kind of a factor in. Yet Zubul's not participating in the Digital Circus, and when she does, it's always begrudgingly. See, she's kind of the grouch. She's pretty much done with this, done with life, done with Kane's game, trying to stand up for herself, telling Kane that she doesn't want to participate, and unfortunately that gives her a lot less screen time. There are some episodes where she's not involved entirely. I know we're only like in episode 6 so far. Her best moment, easily the gunfight where she builds herself up with all those extended arms, carrying like 6 guns and pistols. I want her one line I do like, well, see you on the flip side, and she flips them off before getting executed. That did make me laugh. So Zubul does have some funny moments, which is why she's on B tier. That's about as high a praise as That's about as high a praise I'll be giving her. She has funny moments. She is interesting. Her design is definitely unique, something very interesting. It's implied she doesn't like her body, but this could mean anything. A lot of people are jumping the gun saying she's trans or LGBT. No, she could just be upset with how she looks, which is why she's making herself colorful. Like, she could be a goth chick. She could be a total fat kid who doesn't like how overweight she is in real life. Yeah, it could mean anything. It's just kept vague, which coincides with her character entirely. Like, Zubul's character design is also rooted in Memphis design and 80s-inspired postmodern design. Yeah, it looks like an art piece. Like, Zubul as a human works as... She said she was a bartender at one point. Sorry, just catch up on comments right now. Looking over them, making sure I didn't miss anything. I am so smart. Yes, you are, Monica. Like we didn't see knight, bishop, pawn, rook in the amazing Digital Circus. We still could, Akira. We could see other chess pieces soon enough. What? Are you kidding me? Do you hate colorful goths? I'm sorry, Monica. I tried to gravitate towards Zubul, but her antisocial behavior kind of makes it hard to get invested when she doesn't open up. She has like one therapy session with Kane. She says she wasn't comfortable in her body, and that could literally mean anything. Like, it means, like, literally anything. I know a lot of people theorize she's goth, which you do not get that impression looking at her. She's, like, so colorful. Has, like, a lot of bright neon-looking colors. Looks like a children's assembly doll, basically. They made her look like an living art piece, which is kind of cool. Would've been funnier if they did, like, a Pyramid Head reference through her, though. Yes, I do think that Zubul is female. They tried to keep her gender ambiguous, most likely to build up a big twist, like how hilarious would it be if Zubul was actually like a teenage boy or something, or was like this girl who was not happy with her appearance. Like, she could be anything, which is why they never gave her like pronouns or something. No, she is not non-binary. Gooseworks confirmed that. I do think she's trying to find her identity. That's what they're going with. Yeah, it didn't help that she refused to go on many adventures. Yeah, we finally get to see her participate in the fast food one. That happens like in the halfway point of the show, and all she is doing is like grilling burgers. Then in episodes 5 and 6, she finally got more involved. She does the suggestion box. Zubul did come up with the suggestion box idea, where they should have adventures that they made, their own like creative adventures, and Zubul's ideas also were in there. I do like that Zubul does not take Jax's crap. She does poke fun of him when he's like turned into the maid and the vegan, always calling him out, so she does have a backbone, and she does win points for helping Gangle come out of her shell. Zubul and Gangle form an odd friendship because Gangle's so unhappy. Zubul actually starts opening up to her, having her be herself, find her happy place, even was the one who gave her the happy mask at the start of the fast food episode, so it's clear Zubul is growing is growing connected with the other performers, but it's a slow process. Why is B rank considered horrible? It's not like it's D rank. Exactly, but a lot of people will tell me Zubul deserves to be an S tier. At least her banter with Jax or Kane is still funny. Yeah, it is. Zubul's design greatly resembles the appearance of the Zubul block, or the Zolo blocks. Yeah. Ashley Nichols is the voice actress of Zubul. Yeah, that's her. I heard of her from Sarcastic Chorus. Yeah, B rank is not bad. Unfortunately, she's kind of a silver medal character in my eyes. I know a lot of people don't like Ragatha because she's also had a lack of character. Episode 6 kind of fixed that. We do start to see more of Ragatha's flaws and what she wants to be. Zubul is kind of a question mark of a character though, which is why I didn't connect or gravitate towards her a lot more. Zubul may be a goth. Yeah, maybe, but you don't get that impression looking at a character like this. Why is it that someone tries to find him herself? Is it always assumed that that person is unhappy with the sex they are born with? She could be a teenager or a young adult, which are full of insecurities. Exactly. I'm so sick of people saying somebody unhappy with their body automatically has to do with their gender or some LGBT theme. It's like Zubul could be anything, really. It's like Zubul's such a mystery. We don't know much about her, and yes, she is voiced by an actual woman, so yeah, the non-binary stuff out the window. In some dubs like Russian, their pronouns are she, her. Yeah, exactly. It's obvious to everyone that she's a female. There are color goths, they exist. There are also pastel goths. Okay, I did not know that, Monica. I learn new things every day. Like she's based on 80s inspired postmodern design style. Yeah, you did say that. I do see that. She looks like a living art piece. So unfortunately I can't really say too much about Zubul because she hasn't had a spotlight episode. She's avoiding adventures, gets into wacky slapstick, always mouths off to Jax or Kane because she's tired of their crap, kind of keeps to herself for the first half of the series so far. She does open up to Gangle. I haven't seen her interact with Pomni too much. Like, she only had like, what, 2 sentences said to Pomni throughout the entire show? It's hinted that she's not happy with her appearance or her body. She's like trying to find her own identity, which is kind of weird because she's already an adult, but I do kind of enjoy that theme. She's trying to like use the blocks to rebuild herself, find parts that fit, parts that work, but does not think the circus is actually helping her. Kane gives her therapy at one point, but it turns into Kane getting therapy from her because she tells him brutal honesty that nobody likes him. Then I think the gun episode is easily Zubul at her strongest because she's actually pretty cool and kick-ass. She, like, gives herself 6 arms. She and Gangle really have Jax and Pomni on the ropes a few times during the shootout. Gangle loved that Tommy gun and got carried away. Zubul runs to her room and builds herself up, has her badass moment. Unfortunately, she does lose to obvious BS gameplay. Yeah, Pomni does a dead shot ricochet shot at her, and it kills, like, all her arms. Though I do like her final moment, see on the flip side, and she flips them all off before they cap her down Pulp Fiction style. Zubul in episode 6 pulls an angel dust by having 6 arms and guns. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, she used many arms and guns. That was her best moment so far. If Zubul gets a spotlight episode, I might bump her up a lot. Yeah, we'll probably be doing this tier list again in the future, once Digital Circus reaches like a much further place. But for now, just not impressed by Zubul so far. Had a great badass moment, some funny lines here and there, really unique design. Unfortunately, the character is where she loses points. We haven't gotten a lot of moments to bond with her yet. We need a Zubul clip for Say Cheese and Die Again review. Yeah, most likely. Also, having ADHD from personal experience makes being normal really hard. Sometimes, sorry for the rant, it just gets on my nerves. Okay, Bat Kid, I understand. Catch up on comments. I think if I was in the circus, I would be a female bear version of Jax by appearance. Monica, you should look like Beverly from Crush Crush. She's a sexy bear. Like, they also have several parts stored away in the Zooble box inside their room. The Zooble box has no end, like, meaning there's an infinite number of parts. Yeah, that's pretty cool, though. Like, Zooble helps Gangle. Zooble was a flamingo in Jax's story, because Jax's suggestion, he wanted to make them all pathetic animals he could hunt down. We saw Gangle as a rhinoceros, and Zooble was a flamingo, I guess because she's oddly shaped and is much taller among the cast compared to everyone else. Yeah, Zooble and Jax are both the tall ones. Well, Kinger too. Kinger's like a huge chess piece, but he's like a straight line. It's good to see that the two voice actors are good singers when they sing Daisy. Yeah, I do like that they trolled her outside her room. Zooble is 22 years old, confirmed by Gooseworks, which I find it weird. She said she worked as like a bartender for a few years, but did she like work when she was like 18 or 19 at a bar? Like Zooble feels like rejected Power Rangers villain from Time Force. I was gonna say she felt like someone from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And why I see Zooble as a toy for Ollie, and I think the Void is the way out, because Kane doesn't talk about the Void. Yeah, exactly, or it's places he hasn't expanded the game into. Alright, so, sorry Zooble fans, I do have to put her onto B because she doesn't like participating in adventures and gets a severe lack of character development. This can easily change. We might be back here doing another Digital Circus tier list, but for now, she's kind of a basic character. I'm gonna put her onto B. And finally, let's end things on a positive note with the evil Digital Circus gang. Yes, they actually got character slots. They have evil counterparts, except for Gangle. Yep, in one of the suggestion box missions, they do a softball match against the evil circus gang members, and they all got evil counterparts except for Gangle. So I guess we should bump off Evil Orbs Man. He'll go on to C tier. Yeah, I'll put him next to regular Orbs Man. I do like him a bit more because Evil Orbs Man ironically can speak clear, fluent English. Yeah, that's kind of what makes him funnier. He actually does talk English, while Good Orbs Man is unintelligible. You can't understand anything he's saying. So Evil Orbs Man, definitely funny for a one gag. He's the Empire on the softball game. Sup, fuckers? I'm Evil Pomni. I'm Evil Uragatha. Coach Dictator here. Hi guys, I'm Evil Jax. Beep boop 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 boop. I'm Bazooble. Gangle. How come I don't get an evil clone? Yeah, Gangle didn't get one. What the heck? I would have loved to see what an evil Gangle would have looked like, but a lot of people are saying that this is foreshadowing that Gangle's gonna die because she didn't have an evil counterpart, but I do not buy that theory. Whose idea was it for the anime part? Definitely Gangle. And because Kane doesn't talk about the Void. Alright, read that one. The Wario versions of the Digital Circus cast, except for Gangle. Feels like Bizarro version. Alright, Evil Pomni. Sup, fuckers? I'm Evil Pomni. She's going on to S tier. She'll really like her. Evil Pomni loves to swear. She does not give a crap about anything. Kind of more like Jax, the more I think about it. Jax, like, actually relates with her because she's the jerk of her team. Like, check this out. You're out, dumb fuck. Yeah, she gets censored a lot. She has a real potty mouth on her, but that's what makes her funny. Evil Pomni, definitely the polar opposite of good Pomni. She's a lot more cynical, and it's kind of funny that regular Pomni actually tries to act like her in episode 6. Evil Uragatha, evil mustache-twirling cartoon villain. I actually might put her onto S tier too, because she's so hilarious. If my computer will ever load, yeah. Yeah, I found her much funnier than good Ragatha. She's a try-hard, edgy villain. She wants to be like this evil, mustache-twirling villain, always speaking in this exaggerated accent. I'm evil Ragatha! Acting like the evil rich bitch, evil queen type of character. Really likes to make fun of all the characters. And like her that she has it out for her counterpart, the good Ragatha. Haha, you suck and are going to die one day. Yeah, really hilarious stuff. I do like her personality. Unfortunately, evil Ragatha might be dead. We see her like melt into a puddle at the end of the episode. So yeah, might be out one of the evil doppelgangers. I hope she does come back because she was pretty funny. Eagle Ragatha melting onto the floor at the end of the game is likely a reference to the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, the death of the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah, that's what I got. She might tragically be dead if she did die turning into a puddle, but I do hope she comes back. Are you going to wash your hands? No, 'cause I'm evil. Yeah, Justice League Unlimited. That was where Flash and Luthor switch minds. How come I don't get an evil clone? Feels like Bizarro versions. Coach Dictator. Yeah, he's a evil German guy from World War II. Yeah. Bazooble is a nod to the character Bazooey from the obscure animated Christmas special, The Gift of Winter. Pomni in episode 6 acts like evil Pomni because regular Pomni had red eyes, sharp teeth, and acted like evil Pomni. Yeah, she somehow changes her face into evil Pomni. We need evil Pomni line from Future Review. If you do check out Glitch's work, they do have commercials where the evil counterparts appear. I do know Evil Jax and Evil Pomni returned in one of the commercials. Evil Pomni wanted to buy some of the merch, and yeah, the voice actors really nailed the evil roles. Next, Evil Kinger. I do sadly think this guy might be the weakest of the evil counterparts. He's an evil German Nazi. Yeah, that's really it. He might sadly be going on to B tier. Put him under a disappearing guy. Yeah, unfortunately, I do think this evil counterpart got the least amount of focus. He's basically evil dictator. He's the coach of the team. He's the one commanding his team to whoop their butts. He always swears a lot. I do find him kind of funny, but not as funny as the other evil counterparts. Unfortunately, he's the one who got the short end of the stick. I like that Jax pretended to be an Australian extremist. That is some commitment there. He must be great at roleplay when he was human. Yeah, I think Jax might have been an actor before he got absorbed here. Reminds me of Veronica Best from World Girl. We need evil Pomni to return in the future. Yep, we do. Like Gooseworks mentions that the reason for this was because she thinks that it would be funny if evil Gangle was forgotten. Okay, that was it. You can tell the voice actors had fun voicing the evil doppelgangers. Yes, it is actually the same voice cast who plays the main Digital Circus gang as their evil counterparts. I was kind of surprised because Ragatha's voice actress sounds the most different. Evil Pomni, she just swears a lot and has a more laid-back attitude. I could not tell it was actually the same guy who played Kinger also as the dictator one. Next we should also do Evil Jax, who is ironically a nice guy. Evil Jax, who is ironically the good guy, also going on to S tier. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious Michael Kovac playing a kind, sensitive, shy guy. Evil Jax is pretty much Scaredy Cat, exactly like from our story arc. He's Scaredy Cat, he's nice, he's friendly, and it's so funny how he is the polar opposite of Jax in every way, actually being friendly, compassionate, and very spirited. Hey guys, I hope you do well in the game and that we all have fun. I want to kill that guy. Yeah, really funny. I think we can all agree Evil Jax is one of the best characters. Yeah, they really had fun. I honestly couldn't tell it was some of them. Dictator and Evil Ragatha, I could not tell it was actually the original voice actors. Ragatha's voice actress really went absurd with her evil counterpart role. I could tell it was Michael Kovac as Jax, though. It's pretty much the exact same voice. He's just not a dick. Evil Pomni, she was pretty hilarious. Evil Jax would probably get along with N from Murder Drones, a nice guy or a nice guy. No, actually kind-hearted. He's friendly, he's compassionate. He treats the Digital Circus gang as more so friends rather than opponents, like the rest of the evil counterparts. Oh, and anything is on a positive note, evil Zooble, or Bazooble, doopa-doppa-doopa-doopa, she's going on to A tier. Yeah, I know, I should probably put her on the S2 because they're all so funny. I do like Bazooble. She's the crazy one. Zooble, who's ordinarily the sane woman of the team, her counterpart is the goofy one. She can't talk right, she's very ditzy. Honestly feels like an evil version of Ed from Ed and Eddie. She like says random stuff. Joke's on you, I forgot what we were even talking about. And I do like that she does poke fun at Jax when he's up to bat. Let's see what you're made of. Yeah, Bazooble, much more the crazy member of their team. Unlike the regular Zooble, who's the only sane woman, this one, very kooky, very out there, and when they give her, like, Zooble's eye to use as a replacement ball, she just attaches it to herself because she's that dense. She's the pitcher in the softball game, and it is so hilarious when regular Zooble actually knocks her out on her ass by batting at her. Nice, it feels like Bizarro clones. Yeah, that's what made them funny. Michael Kovac used his N voice for Nice Jax. That is a pretty funny in-joke. Like he's Scaredy Cat. Like, where is he? Scaredy Cat, he's now Scaredy Chad. Scaredy Chad is with Katana. They're off exploring the universe, going on missions together, and having wild parties. Yeah, Scaredy Chad and Katana should really come back for a review one day. Yeah, he's actually a nice guy, not the creepy incel nice guys, if that's what you're asking back, kid. Okay. She's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we are done. My favorite character is Pomni. Really? Okay, I do like Kinger a little more, if only because of those heartfelt moments in the dark. Like, when is Wolf returning in a live stream? I'm trying to convince Wolf to join these more often. I'm trying to convince Wolf to join me for another DC character tier list. Yeah, spoilers, we might do another DC character ranking, all the adaptations of this certain Batman villain. Hope you're looking forward to that. But yeah, as you can see, that completes our tier list. We talked about all the characters in the Digital Circus so far. Yeah, only 6 episodes in, so you can probably count on us doing another one of these in the future. But for now, these are my thoughts on all the characters. Easily the number 1 character is Kinger, he's my favorite, and at rock bottom is the ghost assistant because he got punk killed after a few seconds. I guess Pinky Cat turned evil and died. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect her to be evil. That did surprise you, Monica. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of worried who would be the villain. Would it be Pinky or would it be Catalyst? I actually went for a surprise having Catalyst turn out to be the good guy who gets a redemption arc, while Pinky turned out to be the psychopath and became the new Nega Cat. Could Scaredy Chad and Katana come onto the stream? Yeah, they should. I think Katana might like a Mortal Kombat stream. This was fun. Amazing Digital Circus is great, and I look forward to the rest of the series. Yeah, me too. I'm curious to see where it's going. Episode 7 sounds like it's gonna be huge, so might have to talk about it someday. Will I do reviews on the show overall? Probably not, because there's other better reviewers who talked about it in greater detail. I like the Amazing Digital Circus fine, and as you can see, I have a lot more positive things to say about the characters. Lois honestly is probably only one character in F, but had a lot of S tier and A tier characters. But let's go over the tier list one last time for any of you late birds showing up, or for people who click to the end to see the ranking in full. Bye. My favorite Pomni, least favorite, the ghost assistant. Like it's cool, series interesting. Is Pinky a yandere or just insane? She's both, Bat Kid. She is both. Alright, let's go over this one last time. Down here at rock bottom, only one in the F tier, and it's the ghost. Yeah, I know. He only had like a few seconds, but easily the most forgettable character in the show. Then in D tier, we have all the candy characters, the candy elephant, the evil monster, the gloink children, all a bunch of funny NPCs in the background. Didn't really do anything for me, and we haven't seen most of them come back either, so going on to D. C tier. Honestly, the characters I kind of don't have feelings for. The average ones, the lame Janes, the plain ducks. We have the Candy Princess, she's alright. The Gloink Mother has funny moments, but not one of my favorite characters. Gummy Goo's assistants, yeah, they have funny lines, but aren't really actual characters. Both Orbsman, we have the good Orbsman and evil Orbsman. Evil Orbsman a lot funnier because he can talk. Queenie, who I do want to learn more about. Unfortunately, she's a posthumous character. And Kaufmo, who's also unfortunately a posthumous character. Yet these ones clearly held back by a lack of screen time and development. Don't take it personally, I just find them underwhelming as characters compared to everyone else. Then we have the B tier, our basic ones. The silver medals go to the ghost wife. I thought she was a pretty funny character. We have disappearing guy, who is classic. Everyone loves this guy. He's been memed to death. Possibly have to use a clip of him one day. Dictator, the evil kinger, unfortunately the weakest of the evil counterparts. Wanted to like him, but his thing is he's a Nazi and he cusses a lot. Yeah, kind of lame compared to all the other evil counterparts. And unfortunately, Zubal's down here. Zubal's unfortunately the basic character. I want to love her. There is still time. Don't worry, if we do this again, she might move up to S tier easily. But for now, not too much to work with. Sorry, Zubal is so far my least favorite member of the core circus performers. Bye, Monica. I'm right now watching Minecraft Spider-Man from Slightly Insulting. You should watch it. It's awesome. Bye, everyone. Great video. Bye, V Scorpio. Like any Disney waifu tier list, so I could see Pocahontas in S tier rank. Yeah, I might have to do that one day. Pocahontas is pretty. If any of the Digital Circus characters is married in the real universe life, who do you think it could be? Kinger, most likely. Kinger's wife, Queenie, was implied to be his real wife. But if you're asking of the other core cast members, I do think Ragatha might actually have a boyfriend or girlfriend, possibly. She does seem like she tried to make her own family. But alright, let's talk about the awesome characters. The awesome characters, the decapitated angel and the evil baron guy. Yeah, they were cool boss fights. The scary episode is still one of my favorites. It's a fun Halloween special, and they did their Halloween villains absolute justice. Gummy Goo, awesome character. I just wish he didn't die. Yeah, I know I speak for everyone when I say that, but yeah, Gummy Goo deserves so much better, but we'll put him onto A tier. Ragatha. Wanna like Ragatha, we're starting to finally get bits of her character. Unfortunately, it's not enough to make me love her, and Ragatha does have a lot of drawbacks, so she's going on to A. Very curious to see if they can totally fix her, but so far, just a plain awesome character instead of a super awesome character. Jax. Yeah, I know, he's funny, but he's a dick. That's my only problem with him. He bullies my favorite character, so yeah, I am going to put him onto A tier. And evil Bazooble. Yep, she's funny, she's quirky, she's weird, she's hilarious. I wish she had more screen time compared to the other three evil counterparts up here, but yeah, I'll put her onto A. She's awesome. Hi, just thought I'd stop by to say hello. Hey, just some random guy who comments. Yeah, I think Ragatha is most likely married in the real world, though Kinger, obviously, he and Queenie definitely were a real couple. But finally, the S tier, our top 9 characters of the amazing Digital Circus. Evil Jax, yeah, really funny. He's the nice one of the team compared to the real Jax. Evil Ragatha and Evil Pomni, they're funny and over the top. I love me some hammy villains, and they did not disappoint. Evil Pomni proved to be so popular, she's appearing in their merchandise videos. That's how loved she was. Bubble. Yeah, I love Bubble. I am very suspicious that this character is going to evolve into one of the most deadly villains of the show. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, this is the Digital Circus. But Bubble as a character, pretty hilarious. Ming. Yeah, Ming is one of the best characters ever. He won favorite character awards. Do I even need to say more? Kane, really fun, quirky villain. Curious to see what he's going to turn into, if he'll abstract, or if he'll full-blown turn into a monster like Am. But yeah, he's hilarious, he makes me laugh. I know a lot of people hate him, but I do find him very enjoyable as an antagonist. Gangle, yeah, one of my favorite characters. She's so adorable, sweet, and has some of the best character development so far. Hope she grows out of her shell and grows a spine, cause Gangle definitely deserves it. She's the best employee. Pomni, yeah, who doesn't love Pomni? She's a fun main character. She's very well-rounded, very interesting, and has the best design that stands out amongst the cast. I do like her a lot, and very curious to see if she's going to beat the game or lose to it. Curious to see how the show takes her, but yeah, Pomni is awesome. But my absolute favorite has to be Kinger. Love Kinger, he's funny, he's deep, he's dramatic, has the trippiest design ever, and really love his voice actor's performance. He captures a wide variety of emotions for this nutball. Kinger, still my #1 character. He's going up top. Yeah, I know, sorry Pomni fans, but what can I say? I like me some crazy awesome characters. Bubble looks like the chain ball monster from Super Mario. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I do think Bubble looks like that. Well, it's cool. I see I'm not a cautious in TV shows or video games since I kind of lost that since I am cautious with schoolgirls' friendships. Yeah, aren't we all? I think Jax is a theater actor. Yeah, me too. I do think Jax might be a drama student or possible professional actor who got sucked in here. Like he was gonna be a voice actor for the game, only to get trapped. Well, I hope we see some Adam and Eve references in episode 7. We'll see, Akira. We'll see where the biblical symbolism and metaphors takes us. But yeah, that completes my tier list. Kinger, #1, and at rock bottom, Ghost Boy who got busted in a few seconds. Yeah, sorry, that's only in comparison to every other character. Really, I don't think there's that many bad characters. Just some we prefer more than others. But yeah, take one last snapshot of the tier list. Only a bunch of NPCs at the bottom. And yeah, that pretty much completes my ranking of the amazing Digital Circus gang. We might do another one of these once more episodes come out, but as is, this is my current ranking. Really like the show, it's really fun. I'm curious to see what craziness episode 7 holds, but yeah, I do love the show still. I got into it, I caught up to it, and Kinger became my favorite character. What'll be our tier list next? I am thinking about doing another DC villain ranking. Gonna be ranking all the adaptations of another Batman villain. Might do another horror franchise, but we'll see. Yeah, those are what the tier lists I have planned so far. They're not gonna happen this week, they are gonna happen the weekend, so don't worry, you don't have to wait Thursday and Friday for me to post something. I will be saving it for the weekend. Video-wise, I do have my new top 10 Best Treehouse of Horror episodes lists on Patreon. I did talk about the Simpson horror specials. It is available on Patreon. I had to fix the link. Sorry, it's now going to the Patreon player version. That's the new video up. There's also my Tales from the Dark Side. And Wolf did that Patreon exclusive anime review. See what we're going to be doing next. I might want to do another Halloween special. And you might be in for a return to a certain Twilight Zone. Or Batgirl tier list. Yeah, that could work. Alfred tier list. Definitely looking forward to that future top 10. Yeah, we all are. I respect your decision about the Pomni ranking. Yeah, she's second place. I still like her as a character. But thank you all for joining me. We'll see what we do next time, but for now, I should get to setting you free because this list went on for a pretty long time. But yeah, Digital Circus is awesome. Go check it out. So let's wrap up. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more content posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I'll see you all on the next show. Oh, say,